What's up, guys? It is Will here, back again for another episode of Lights Camera Collect, or Lights Camera Keco Collect. I'm not really sure because, guys, we have an announcement. Mr. Keco, as long as he can, every Friday, he's going to be here on this show, like Carlos is
Fucking
every Sunday. Yeah, I know. Keco is going to be here to show just enough skin to get the ladies excited, the 3% of ladies that watch this video. And yeah, according to my analytics, Keco, it's about 3-4%, depending upon a good day. So, it's not bad. We're getting more women into collecting. So really excited about that.
Well, let's see if I can't try to alter those demographics a little bit and boost over that female viewership. So that's what I'm here for.
I'm sure you will, Keco, because if anyone can do it, it's going to be you.
I was excited. I actually went back and replayed more than one time, obviously, because I got to give you those likes and clicks and all those things. But I went back and played the little segment where we're talking about Amy and Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
And so she got a kick out of that. But one of the things I laughed about is when Carlos says, hey, none of us are getting with celebrities. And then you said, well, Keco might. And Amy's like, I know that's right, dude. I know that's right. So, yeah, if you don't believe you can, then of course you can't. But with that attitude, you can do anything.
Set the bar high, boys.
There we go.
You can achieve anything. You can achieve anything if you put your mind to it. Even Carlos can expand his shoulders, maybe.
My shoulders are fine. I have fine. The way I'm putting my
some raises,
stupid arms.
Yeah, I know, right? It's the raises. Because Carlos always tells me I have small arms, so I'm just gonna say
I don't have small shoulders.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. But guys, thanks so much for joining. We're going to talk about some cool stuff. Of course, the Obi-Wan that dropped this morning. Everyone's super excited about that. The InArt Aragorn. I'm super hyped about that one. The pre-order should hopefully be coming tomorrow, but I guess we're going to find out more. King Shark was released. Really excited about that. Maybe some InArt Joker talk, some other philosophy talk about credibility as a collector, which has been interesting lately. Number one tip for buying used hot toys and some other good stuff. But before we do that, let's address our beautiful panel. Mr. Carlos, a place for collecting. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, dude. As I was telling you, I have obviously a place for collecting, a Facebook group, and that mod chat that we have, it's pretty wild.
Is it?
Pretty wild. Well, we have two. We have an important one where we talk about like rules and things that keep it super short, right? And the other one is just shooting the shit. And we talk about some really random stuff that's really funny. So I was taking a break and I was just laying down for a little bit. And then Becca's like, oh, what time are you going live? And I'm like, oh, X amount of time. And anyways, point is I only had 2 minutes to get in here. So I almost missed your show.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
Well, that's why I knew something was wrong. Because Keco, I messaged Carlos at maybe 5:20, 10 minutes before the show started. And he didn't read it. And I was like, that's not normal. So
yeah, because typically I'm on my phone. Yeah. And I was just like, okay, I'm tired. All these motherfuckers talk a lot. And it's, what I mean? It's a lot of fun, though. We have a lot of fun in there. But sometimes it's very, we keep going on and on. And I'm like, okay, I need to put my phone down and relax a little bit. And I totally forgot about your show. But in there, we were like, oh, who's going to go live, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm going live. And they're like, oh, Riley, you're going to go live. He goes like, no, Will didn't want me. I was like, it's not we didn't want you. It's just that you have shit opinions. So that's why we didn't want you. So that's
is that what it is? So, yeah, man. Well, happy you could make it in here, and hopefully you can get Riley's opinions on track soon. So, it's hard to do,
especially his jackets, dude. They fucking suck.
Yeah, his jackets need improvement. And Keco, Riley went out on a date the other night. Did you know that?
Whoa!
With the Clone Wars jacket. And then he's like, I didn't get lucky. I was like, well, you wonder why?
Well, I kind of respect that because I know the Clone Wars, I think it's a Celebration exclusive, and I'm super salty that I didn't get that when I was there. So,
okay.
Bro, no girl was like, oh my God, you're wearing an exclusive jacket?
Is that the exclusive Attack on Clones jacket?
I mean, I can see that.
Home.
I mean, but if you do
slave lammy.
What were you gonna say, Keco?
I don't know why all my emails coming through. Bing, bing, bing.
Everyone wants to email you now, though, dude.
Pretty much. But speaking of emailing, going back to Carlos and the message, I'm pretty sure I get a message every week saying, "Are you coming? Are you coming?" Because I'm always the one running late. So, well, I do apologize. So, unless I tell you that there's something wrong, I will be here a bit. Just letting you know.
You're good.
But this one is once again sponsored by Jim Beam Peach. Hopefully, we can have more Dr. October talks again because he made an appearance last week, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Nice, bro. Well, good to have you as well, Keco. Hopefully you're doing well, man. And like I said, happy to have you every Friday that you're available, bro. So I mean, Lights Camera Keco has officially become a thing. So probably need to change the name at this point. So yeah, Keco, but everything going well, man, with your collecting. I see a lot of reels you've been putting out. They've been fun.
Yeah, man. A couple of weeks ago I got that Instagram's like, hey, you need to start doing reels. I'm like, okay. And everyone's like, Instagram talks to you? I was like, well, yes, it does if you're special. But no, I got like a message saying, hey, you know, we'll give you a $50 bonus if you do 5 reels, $10 per reel. I'm like, shit, I can do that. And so I just put together some like shitty reels or whatever. One took off and, you know, got 15,000 or whatever. And then the other ones bombed, of course. And then I'm like, okay, cool. I did my 50. So what happens next? And they're like, oh, you can only cash out on 100. I'm like, okay, so when do I happen to get more monetization and more bonuses and such? TBD. So basically they just got all their free reels. They're never going to pay me. But I have been doing the reels, but I will say, I have noticed quite a bit of traction on the viewership of reels. And I think it's true is that if you want to do Instagram, that's the place to do it. Yeah, I know it's lame when it comes to, you know, making movies on a photo app, but the thing is that if you are new to Instagram or want to build your engagement, there's a thing called a trending sound. If you can put something with a trending sound, exponentially your reels will take off quite a bit more. I did that Batman and Robin one with a trending sound. 10,000 views. I did a real review of Queel, 2,000 views. So, I mean, it's up there. So just follow their rules and it might work out.
Interesting. That's a good tip, bro. It's a pro tip right there. What were we saying, Carlos?
If you use Throbbing, he'll probably do better.
I mean, that's probably why. I mean, my viewership was like 75% women on that reel because they wanted to see Throbbing.
Yeah, that sounds about right, bro. Sounds about right. Because no guys are really, we feel threatened by Throbbing. You know what I mean? So it's like,
speak for yourself.
I will say that is a super underrated figure. I think we talked about it at one point. It's super cool. Like I got both of them, and I wish they would have done a 2-pack for them because no one's buying just Robin. You know, you're not. And it would have been a great way to kind of force a little bit of sales because that Robin is really, really good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm excited about it, bro, because I think there's a lot of people that are going to be really happy to get that. Not for me, it's too threatening, but you know, I will say that other than that, I think it's going to be a great figure, bro. And that Val Kilmer Batman looks dope, man. That looks really, really good. So
I have a question. When that Robin becomes a ghost, Nick is going to be really scared.
What do you mean a ghost?
You know, eventually one day he's going to pass away. He's going to become a ghost.
Nick's I get what you mean. Yeah, get out of here.
Nick is going to be running for his life.
Yeah, supposedly that's a thing, which we won't go into. But guys, thanks so much to this amazing Avengers level panel for joining. Let's address the chat real quick, and then we'll jump into our first topic. Christian Maher in here. King Shark on the way. Can't wait. Excited for you, bro. Excited. We're going to talk to some King Shark tonight. Ben O'Benny, I'm looking forward to the Legolas reveal from InArt. Dude, same, bro. Cannot wait for the Legolas. Xander, has anyone watched the Harley Quinn with Kaylee Kuko voicing? Highly recommend it. I've not seen it. Keco, have you seen it?
I've heard great things. My buddy Dusty is a huge DC honk and huge into all that stuff, who's been punched in the balls recently because of some of the DC news and, you know, changes that they've made. But yes, he recommends it as well. I've heard great things.
Well, there you go. There you go. And Jovius channel member, thanks so much. Folks already. Yeah, man. People were lining up to talk some figures tonight. So Roberto Gomez, Aragorn. What does it say? Alisar? I don't know how that is. But I'm just going to go with it. Alisar, is that what that is? My nerd card's going to be revoked. But the collector number 1, what's up? Hope everyone's doing great. Some guy, let's go. Obi-Wan, baby, beautiful fig. Yeah, man. Blackbird Tech, Dinesh the Garage, channel member. What's up, bro? Man, what? Thalia Meyer, good to see you, Thalia. Yomo, what is up? Sayful, Diablo Fed, man, what? Tyria, AJ Agarusa, channel member. Mark Attack, channel member. Doc Smizzle said I'm ready for some fresh breadsticks. They're going to be here, bro. They're going to be hand delivered to you. Tyria, what's up? Tomorrow's the Aragorn reveal. Yes, it is tomorrow. Renee M, can't wait for the full Aragorn reveal tomorrow. Yep, absolutely. We're going to talk about it. So, guys, Joe Geista, Sergeant Sal Collectibles. Fig Fate, the man himself, is here, the previous Module Space winner. Riley Reviews, channel member. Thanks so much, Riley. Why is Carlos here? I don't know, bro. He showed up late, but he's here. Mark Attack, I'm excited for Carlos, not Keco. There you go. See, there you go. Jason Himmelwright, looking forward to the discussion. Thanks so much, Jason. Alvin J, channel member. Thanks so much, bro. YouTube doesn't report my analytics, actually. Too many masculine interests, despite my entire channel being almost figure skating. Nice, dude. Nice. Well, it's mostly men and collecting. So it's like approximately, at least for my analytics, like 96%, 95%. So pretty high. Nick's Collectibles. We do have a woman here, though, Tracy. Hey, Will and Carlos and Mr. Keco. Don't forget about Lights, Camera, Keco here, Tracy. So AJ Agarusa, Comics, Collecting Madness, Kenobi. Absolutely, bro. I can't scream it in the Darth Maul voice, but maybe I'll try one day. Nick said he's toxic. He absolutely is with that mustache. Mark Attack, don't rat us out, Carlos. Andrew Givo, 1-6 shooter. Calvin Williams, the drawer dropper himself, is here. What's up, Calvin? Gets out of control. Fig Fate, absolutely. Jesus Christ is here. Thank you so much, Jesus. Peace be with your brothers and sisters. Appreciate that, bro. Let's see. DT Artman. Mark Attack, Punisher XS. Hi, everyone. Fig Fate said he's here to claim his Maji case. He is here to claim it. You're only about how many hours late? 24, 48, 72. I don't know. Over 100 hours late. So at this point, Mr. Fig Fate, I'm so sorry, bro. But next time you're gonna win. Next time you're gonna win. You should have passed up Avatar to win some Maji cases, bro. I mean, like, come on. What are you gonna choose?
For real, dude. Yep. And you had to be in the group, so it's so it only counts.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly. Swoosh, what's up, bro? What's up? Philip the Fool, Channel Mirror, what's up, bro? Metalhead Kev, Nick said he just started doing reels. He did. I've been seeing them, and they're great. And he always does the let's take some pictures, and he snaps it every time. Yeah,
he opens his mouth.
Thing. Yep, exactly. Mike Fairley, what's up? Wonder Dog, hi, Mark. Oh, nice. That's the room reference. It sounds like. Martin G, what is up? JB, Empire Strikes Again. Natalie G. Can I say how much I love you? Thank you so much, Natalie G. So fun, charismatic, and seriously smart. Streams are always better when you guys are in them. Thank you. Natalie G is full of compliments. Thank you so much,
awesome.
Natalie.
She gets the hand clap.
I'll give her the applause from the soundboard. Thank you, Natalie G. Thank you. All you got to do is stroke our egos a little bit, and then you get the applause. Dylan Compton, thanks so much. I prefer Night Wang over Throbbing. Nice, Night Wang. That's pretty good.
I've heard of that one. That's pretty good.
Yeah, Commander Gree, Ash Chase, FBJ. We got the Alien Queen, the analytics. See, 4% women. We got this. We're going up. We're going up. CT603, what's up, CT? Sergeant Sal Collectibles. Dude, thank you so much for the super chat. Playing Last of Us and listening to this great panel. It's a great Friday. That sounds amazing. That sounds like
if you really love The Last of Us, send another super chat. Just kind of throw it out there.
Exactly. I'm creating a Last of Us channel, by the way, which I'll probably talk to you guys about, but I'm going to be covering some Last of Us news. So I'll talk to you guys about that if you're interested. Carlos, I know he's flexing on us. Let's see. Swoosh 616. Yeah, Conquer Knight is here. Leighton Richards, Ed Reiner. What's up? Okay, guys, and Anthony, I'm gonna probably pronounce your name here. Anthony Cafferata. I think I'm pretty good there. I think that's pretty good.
He sold me insurance. He sold me insurance. Did you know that? He sold me insurance. Yeah.
What kind of is it? Like nationwide or something?
I was gonna say, what type of insurance?
Yeah.
Like health
collector's insurance?
No.
Health insurance, you said?
Shoulder insurance?
Like health insurance.
That's
what he does. Shoulder insurance. My shoulders are not small, Will.
Yeah, exactly. Sergeant Cal Collectibles, Sal Collectibles. See? He did it again. Hey, Carl, it's nice to see you smile. Yeah. Thanks so much, Sergeant Sal. Appreciate that, bro. All right, guys, let's waste no more time. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, the exciting elephant, the grail elephant in the room. Hot Toys Clone Wars Obi-Wan has been announced. Let's bring it up on Sideshow. Retailing at $279 with movable eyes. Set to release Q1 to Q2 2024. Hot Toys is very optimistic because no figures seem to release that quickly, but they seem to be putting them up for pre-order thinking that they are going to release that quickly. I guess we're going to find out. This is our Clone Wars Obi-Wan that people have been clamoring for quite a while now. People weren't exactly satisfied with the Sideshow one that looked a little more animated, didn't come out as good as the prototype it looked like. However, this one's got people really excited. I want to start with Keco. As a huge Star Wars fan, probably the biggest Star Wars fan on the panel of the three of us, because Carlos hates Star Wars, and I love Star Wars, but not as quite as much maybe as yourself. But
I'm a canon expert and a lore purist. So
you are absolutely, and you're real expert. So Thank you know, it's Instagram real expert and Clone Wars expert. Keco, what do you think about this announcement? What were you thinking this morning when it popped up on Facebook?
This is one of the ones I really thought wasn't going to come anytime soon. I thought it would just kind of, pull on your dick type of thing. Like, hey, you want this, but, no thanks. And it would just kind of sit in the forever coming soon graveyard. I really did think that because after all the releases and all the things that we saw, there was no logical explanation as to why it wasn't coming. But then this morning, this dropped. And I really think from the neck down, it is a 10 out of 10. I think it's really cool. They've really put a lot of detail into the epaulets of the cloak. Cloak looks wired. good weathering. He looks a little thick. Maybe the tailoring could be a little bit better. That's my only issue from the neck down. But I know everyone wants to talk. And who's going to put a damn helmet on this thing?
Yeah, nobody's
no
going to
one's
use
going to
that,
do that.
are they?
I mean, I have the exact same statue of General Kenobi, and that helmet went in the box immediately. You know, you're not displaying Kenobi not as Kenobi. I mean, come on. Cool idea, but still. But let's talk about what everyone wants to talk about. We want to talk about the head sculpt. And I know there's a bunch of polls. There's all kinds of different things out there talking about, okay, what is this? And I think Riley was super hyped. He was probably the first person to throw it out there late last night while I'm fast asleep. And I think about this. He's like, hey, here, I'm super hyped. Let's talk about it right now. And I think he gave it a 8.5. I think that's what he gave it, was an 8.5 head sculpt. I think this is severely lacking with the head sculpt. And maybe it's because it's like the slicked back hair. I actually like the hair. I like the reddish color to it. But the Kenobi sculpt, both this and the Kenobi series sculpt, needs some work. There's one picture you showed where it's got him looking off to the side. I don't know who that is. That is not Ewan McGregor. Let's see. There it is. That one where he's looking to the right or looking this way.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is. And as we talked about on the last Mace call or the last Mace point, don't let yourself get blinded to the fact that because a figure or a character you've really wanted is here, that you excuse all the things. And you're just like, oh, that's so ridiculous. You were, just talking last week about how we're too critical and that we're negative Nancy's. This is not what everyone needs it to be. All right. There's subtle improvements that need to be made. There's major improvements that need to be made. It's good from some angles, sure, but this is a tier 1, tier A character, I would assume, for most people. You cannot half-ass the head sculpt. You just can't, especially with the blowback of what they did for the Revenge of the Sith one. Think about the people that got pissed, like, oh, look at this sculpt. It's going to be a 10 out of 10. Then the real one comes, and like, oh shit, it's soft. What happened to the lip? Fuck. And then they're like, okay, General Kenobi's out. 10 out of 10. Here we go again. If this is what we end up getting, there's going to be a lot of people that are super bitchy about it. This is not good enough. Okay, I'm real straight with people, and I think that there's a lot of negativity in the community and such like that unnecessarily. But when you have a character of this quality, you cannot half-ass the head sculpt. I'm sorry. And you say, is he more important than Mace Windu? Yes, he is. He really is. This is Obi-Wan Kenobi, arguably the biggest name next to Darth Vader in Star Wars. You can't half-ass it.
Damn. See, this is why, Keco, we needed you weekly, bro, to drop the fucking hot takes on people.
Let's go.
I know. Keco drops the hot takes, bro, guys. Because, Keco, it's interesting because if you think of it this way, I think this is not terrible. I think this is like an 8. I think this is like a pretty solid head sculpt, but not amazing, right? Maybe I'm a little bit higher on it than you are. But at the end of the day, if you expect a typical Hot Toys decline of about 10%, so you go from an 8 to a 7, this comes out at a 7, people aren't happy. Right? Because this is Obi-Wan, like you said. The standards change based on who the character is. So if the character doesn't really, if people like Ant-Man, people are like, yeah, the Ant-Man looks like shit anyway, and they moved on, right? But with Tony Stark, they're like, oh, Hot Toys is like, well, fuck, we got so much backlash, we got to take it back. Because Iron Man and Ant-Man are not on the same level. But Obi-Wan, like you said, is on a very high level. Obi-Wan is like you said, a tier 1 character for a lot of people. He's like,
but he's not Iron Man though.
No, probably not. But as far as Star Wars goes, he's like a pretty much an A-list character.
I was going to say there's probably 3 names in Star Wars right now that are synonymous with Star Wars. Mando, because of the current fans, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Darth Vader. Those are the 3. And Darth Vader's got a helmet, so you don't have to worry about anything like that.
Yeah, Luke too.
I think because of his deal.
I would say R2 or C-3PO or Slave Leia.
But Obi-Wan's right up there. Slave Leia.
I mean, even going back to normal pop culture and the casual fan and such, is that if you went up to most people and showed a picture of R2-D2 and C-3PO, yeah, they would know who they are. They'd call them 3PCO and Arbu-Dito and stuff like that. They don't know the names, but they know what they look like. Right. But if you say Obi-Wan Kenobi, most people know who that is. You say Darth Vader, people know who that is. And what Carlos said a minute ago about Luke, and this is where I get passionate about this stuff. I think Luke is down a tier simply because of how the sequels fucked him over. And people are like, if you think about, Return of the Jedi Luke, yeah, that's my boy. You talk about Last Jedi Luke, that's not my Luke, stuff like that. But when you talk Kenobi, everybody loves Kenobi. He can do no wrong. Even in the Kenobi series where people weren't thrilled, he still could do no wrong. So that's
a really good point, actually, because Carlos, even in the Kenobi show, which a lot of people didn't really love that much, people were like, well, Ewan McGregor was great. People love Obi-Wan, right?
Yep.
No one had any complaints about Obi-Wan himself.
It was the actor, right? Because he did a good job with shit writing.
Right.
That's what it was.
But
yeah.
I will say before I jump to you, Carlos, I want to share one more thing here because Keco was talking about the head sculpt. And I just ran a poll, by the way. Check out my new Instagram, guys, by the way. Will.foxification.
That was exciting to see, by the way. I'm
Yeah,
glad you did that.
Thanks, Keco. I appreciate it, bro. Because now I can actually post more collecting stuff and more stuff from my channel and keep people up to date on the news. So Instagram, check my Instagram out, Will.foxification. I ran a poll earlier today about this Obi-Wan, and this is where the results. So people seem generally pretty happy. If you're looking at almost 91% of people saying an 8 or better. So that's pretty high. So 9% of people saying below an 8, right? So that this people are very high on this figure. But Akiko, I'm wondering if it's one of those situations kind of like Mace, where it's just something that people have wanted for so long, like you said, where they're willing to accept something that's not quite, it's not terrible, but maybe not as elite as they want it to be. It's not a Shang-Chi. It's not a Yondu, right? It's not on that level, despite the fact that it probably should be. It's not even an Anakin that they just showed. That Anakin head sculpt is pretty damn good. Like, but this one, it's not terrible, but I'm with you. I think it's solid. I'm maybe not quite as hard on it as you are, Keco, but I think it's solid. But I want to jump to Carlos. Carlos, what do you think about this, bro? Are you kind of maybe in the middle of Keco and I? What do you think?
Keco, what do you give this 1 to 10?
I think I voted in the poll and I said 6.5.
6.5. That's pretty low.
Yeah,
that's pretty low.
Yeah, that's low.
And the thing that's saving it is the hair color and style. And the mole. There you go.
The lips are also a little bit weird again. They seem to be weird on every Obi-Wan. Yeah.
I see Phantom RX said, if you say it can be improved, where? From the nose down, I think, if you're looking at it. And I think around, even, it looks like he has filler. You know, I'm part of someone that gets, you know, my wife is into the Botox and all that stuff. He looks like he's got filler in his face. I mean, those cheekbones are not Kenobi. I don't know who that is. You know, he looks gaunt in that. And say, well,
you don't think this is the best sculpt though for Kenobi?
Absolutely not. No, I think the Revenge of the Sith version is still superior to this one. Still,
really,
the Proto Revenge of the Sith was great. The Proto was incredible. I just think there was a big decline, Keco, because I had that figure. I had the figure, the final version, obviously, and like it was okay. Like I liked it, but the Proto was so good, man.
And I'm getting a lot of hate in the comments. And let me just say this once again. Don't let yourself get blinded by the fact of who the person is. Just because you want something should not, you know, eliminate the facts. Because once you have it in your collection, don't be the person be like, man, I really wish I would have spoke up. Damn, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. Well, I guess I'm going to have to find a custom head sculpt, you know, something like that.
Right.
You know, I know we talk about all the negativity and, you know, voicing your concerns. Say, hey, we need some retooling. We need to rethink this. You know, we got some things we can do here.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Well, Carlos, jump in on this one. What do you think, bro?
Yeah. So I actually do really like this figure. I do believe it's the best head sculpt I've seen. That's the problem, right? I think for me is that I do see the likeness. Like I do see it. Do I think this is a, you know, I heard some people it's like, oh, you know, it's like the best head sculpt of him. Like, no, not necessarily. I do agree with Keco. I don't agree that it's a 6.5 because I think 6.5 is like Loki without the helmet. That's like a 6.5. Like it's pretty atrocious where like you wouldn't even want to buy the figure if not, like, let's be honest, Will, like if Loki didn't come with the helmet, you probably, I don't know if you would have bought it. But
I might still have, but most people probably wouldn't. Yeah.
Most people, right. But I feel like this is still where people will still buy it, right? I look at Mace and I'm like, Mace, I gave that like a 7.5. And I think this is about where that would be, maybe slightly better in certain angles. So I would do maybe about an 8, and in certain angles, definitely about 7.5. So I wouldn't say, you know, it's a 6.5. I like it, but here's the thing, though, right? It's like I really thought, you know, that Wolverine that Hot Toys put out was really good, and then I saw V Collectibles do a custom one, and it's a lot better. So it's hard for me to be like, well, where would this rank? Because I just haven't seen someone else do it. But overall, I would say there's about an 8. Certain angles that I didn't have, and definitely there's a lot of pictures where I see a 7.5. It's not perfect by any means, but I think it's still better than the Return of the Sith. You know, I like this one actually, but I wonder if they're gonna improve it because I think they just struggle with this. You know, I saw a lot of people commenting that this might be the same sculpt as the Kenobi series, but just with different hair.
I think it is.
You know,
I do think it is.
You know, so that could be it. I mean, I don't think it's the worst thing, but you know, I would agree with Keco as far as like, we also don't want to be. You'd be like, oh, okay, we're just gonna accept it, at this point, just because this is a big character. You know what I mean? Mace might have been something different because not everyone's looking for a Mace, but this is definitely, like I said, a big time character. I mean, as soon as that Kenobi show went out, that other Kenobi Deluxe, went up in value like almost $600 or something, because people love Kenobi, people love this actor. So, hopefully we get an improvement. I will say though, don't expect an improvement. Expect this, and then for it to get slightly worse.
Yeah. And that's what scares me a little bit. Yeah. Because not everyone is going to go. I think it's so rare, and it shows a testament to the power of Iron Man. Everyone's like, oh, fuck, more Iron Man. The fact that people were vocal enough about the Tony Stank head sculpt that people said, oh, shit, we got to fix this. And they did. I think that's a testament to that character and the response for that. I don't know if you could. I doubt anyone would say, okay, let's get a petition, a GoFundMe to redo the sculpt. That's probably not going to happen, but the expectations need to be tempered that if this is the best, then it's probably going to be a little bit worse when it does come out. And so I'm trying to play it forward, essentially, is that I'm paying it forward, is that you're like, okay, look, I don't want to just accept everything that comes, but I also don't want to be negative all the time. For the people that were like, how many people in the comments whenever King Shark was announced, Clone Wars Kenobi win, Clone Wars Kenobi win, people, Padme win, people were asking that forever.
How? Do it again.
Yeah. Clone Wars Kenobi win. Everyone said that every single post, and now they finally got. I can't wait to see what the next figure.
Mark 46 reissue.
Yeah, Mark 46 reissue. Clone Kenobi and Padme were the most requested ever. I can't wait to see what the next.
Cyborg was before that. Yep.
Cyborg was before that. So that should be the poll: is what's going to be the next? Where is this figure? But anyway, we'll have to see. But at the same time, like I said, I'm trying to pay it forward to where I'm not being negative, but to say, hey, we see these. This is an A-list tier 1 character. Make sure you're doing your diligence, because imagine, I'm just going to throw this out there. What if this is an InArt figure and they put that sculpt out? Would you think that'd be acceptable?
No.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I want to ask you guys real quickly before we move on. So we'll touch on this real briefly before we move on to the next topic. Do you think, because Keco, you and Carlos both addressed something that I think is really interesting. Do you think we're harder or softer on beloved characters? Or characters even that we just love? Because, for example, the Loki, right? The Loki that I got, maybe I'm a little bit softer on it because I love the character and I'm willing to accept something, even if it's not perfect. But Keco, do you think in general we as collectors are harsher on head sculpts of characters like Obi-Wan who are really important? Or do you think we're like a little bit more forgiving? Like even Mace?
That's an interesting question, because it's like a catch-22. Like the most beloved characters we're almost forgiving of because, I have to have this character. But then the ones that aren't as beloved, you're harsher on, if that makes any sense at all. And I think it should be the other way around. And I think Justin commented is that the backlash because of Tony just goes to a testament of the character. And we shouldn't say, if we storm the castle, they're going to fix it, because most likely they aren't. And that it needs to be understood that we're not going to be, very rarely will. I think maybe the Hulk recently, or maybe I think it was In-Game Hulk or whatever. They're like, hey, here's a new updated sculpt. That's one of the few that they've updated it. That actually came. And I don't even know why
they updated that.
Yeah, me either. But that came with a press release saying, hey, we've updated this. We've done better. Things like that. But I don't know. I can't think of the last Star Wars announcement where they ever said, hey, we've heard your complaints. Here you go.
Yeah,
I don't know. Just my opinion, of course.
Yeah. What do you think, Carlos? Do you think we're harder or softer?
Ah, man. I will say softer, man. I will say softer because, like, especially if it can be like a helmeted figure. Like, let's say the Mandalorian or something would have just came out atrocious. We would have been like, well, we're gonna put the mask on anyway. You know what I mean? But then if it's something like Bo-Katan, we might be like, yeah, like it's not gonna look that good. You know what I mean? Because it's not a beloved figure. I guess more in the sense of like
on Kenobi though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's not like Loki where you can put the helmet on and you're good.
Right. So I think it's maybe more from like because we're gonna be spending our money on major characters. Like if they fuck up a Darth Vader, dude, that's gonna that's not gonna fly.
That would be like Iron Man, basically. Yeah,
that's not gonna fly. But I think just because they're lower tier characters, we're like, do we really want to spend money on these figures? But when they come out looking so good, you're like, okay, I'll spend it. And then the other ones that that are more popular, you were going to spend that money regardless, like a Loki for you. You know what I mean? Like maybe a Darth side Anakin for Keco. I believe you said that's your most favorite character, right? Anakin. Yeah.
Correct.
Like an Anakin or an Iron Man for me. I'm gonna be more forgiving because those Iron Man skulls, man, they look like dog shit sometimes, and I'm still like, yeah, it's the
Some
second
of
best
them.
You can
thing
put the
That
ever.
helmet
Mark
on.
V racing suit. That Mark V.
Oh no,
Yeah,
that one's
that
great. That one's
looks-
great.
Damn.
That's amazing.
I
But
think
if you
that's
go-
the
I'm
best
talking-
one.
Yeah, I'm referring more like the Tony Stank situation, right? Like that was
Right,
really
right.
bad. And
Right.
even if they wouldn't have fixed it, I would have still probably bought it, to be honest with you.
Anyway, guys, before we
so-
move on to the next topic, so Keco, sorry to cover your face, bro. But Justin, he said the pressure came from their domestic market in Hong Kong for Tony. In Hong Kong, Star Wars doesn't make like Iron Man does. I don't think we'll see any changes personally, but I hope I'm wrong. Yeah, guess we'll see. Guess we'll see how much Hot Toys cares about the U.S. market and everyone outside of Hong Kong. But I guess we'll see. Guys, thanks so much for your thoughts on that topic. Let's move on to the next one. But before we do,
We're already out of the gate quick.
I know, right? Let's address a couple super chats. Andrew James, Carlos, can't wink for the life of him. Will, you're the man. Thanks so much, Andrew. Appreciate the super
Will,
chat.
can you
bro.
wink?
I can't. Maybe not live. I'm trying. I don't know. I can, like when I wink both eyes. Keco, can you wink? See, Kiko's pretty good at it.
I do, yeah. Like, and this is something that's actually gotten
That's
me
not
in
winking,
trouble
bro. That's
before.
blinking.
No, like
Winking
no,
and
this
blinking.
is winking. I'll be like, because sometimes I'll talk to somebody, it's like, hey, how you doing? And I wink at them like this type of thing. That's over exaggerated, but I used to get in trouble with ladies because I'd be like,
Oh,
hey,
yeah,
how are you?
yeah.
You know, with a small little wink, and they're like, oh, he winked at me, you know, something like that. So,
Yeah, right.
Riley, that's what you need, Riley. Master the wink, and you're good.
Nah, bro, you'll be in HR when you get it.
Yeah.
Riley gets a job, he's
No,
gonna be in
no.
HR, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, let's not do that. Forgive me,
Yeah.
but let's edit that out. Delete.
You want to see my 12?
No, we're
it's like you want to see my 12-inch figures? It's like
Yeah, right, exactly.
It's that classic meme of I bring home 6 figures a month. Oh, do you? Damn. Yeah, you want to see them? Wait, what? Yeah, check it out. Here's fucking Iron Man.
Here's throbbing, and then that's it.
Oh
Yeah, I'm just
shit!
showing
Can
it.
I see that throbbing?
Yeah, I heard that throbbing release. Can you show it to me?
Oh, throbbing
Yeah.
on release. All right.
Yeah.
Oh,
See?
you have a half scale? It's so optical. You have a
Yeah,
half scale.
optical,
It's
yeah.
so big.
He's like, it's so big. It's made of polystone. Anyway, thanks so much, Andrew. You got us derailed. Ben O'Benny, thanks so much. I think we need higher standard for characters like Obi because we frequently get them like Iron Man and the Mandalorian. Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense, Ben O'Benny. That's my question, I think, comes into play. Like, how harsh are we on beloved characters, like really popular characters compared to, you know, for example, like if Reva's head sculpt didn't come out as good and people were just like, well, I don't really give a shit because it's Reva, right? They probably wouldn't care. They just move on. But, you know, some people love Reva, but it's not like Obi-Wan or Iron Man and all that. So anyway, Riley said, good advice, Keco. Yeah, absolutely, bro. Absolutely. See, Alien Queen. See, we got a woman in the chat. Insta turn on. See, there we go. See, we got a woman speaking. So Riley, just take Keco's advice. It's basically gospel. So you're good. Guys, let's talk about InArt Aragorn. Apparently, I mean, this is like something where we didn't really know this was. I mean, we knew it was coming, but not this soon, right? So InArt Aragorn, apparently there's a pre-order tomorrow, at least a reveal. I did message Kit, and he said he had not heard yet, but hopefully they're going to release a pre-order soon for this InArt Aragorn. And let me zoom in a little bit further just so people can see a little bit better. But essentially, this InArt Aragorn, damn, this looks good. Pretty much from every single angle. I'm super excited for Lord of the Rings fans out there. Damn, this is a really, really good prototype. I cannot wait to pre-order this. I'm willing to, go out on a limb here. I'm really excited to pre-order this because I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. But Keco, what do you think, bro? I mean, is this something you'd be interested in? What do you think about this InArt Aragorn from what you've seen so far?
It is light years better than, I guess, the broken promo model that they took to Las Vegas or wherever that was, or the one that got like lost in or whatever. And they're like, oh shit, what happened? And there was a lot of controversy around that. And then there were some pictures. They're like, oh, this is not what I thought. And everyone's like, fuck, InArt's done. Told you, Hot Toys on top. Ha ha. That's kind of what people were saying. And they're like, okay.
They make the figures in the kitchen.
That's what I'm saying.
Pretty much.
And they do live streams in the kitchen. And so with that being said, I was really surprised when this came through because I did not think it was a figure. I know everyone says it all the time, like, oh, I love the realism of 1/6, but I honestly didn't think it was a figure at first. And I looked up and saw that it was from InArt. And then I kind of read the conversation at the bottom. I was like, oh, this is the new Aragorn figure. I'm like, damn, I'm very surprised. Now I've been on record, and once again, I'm going to get massive hate again. I respect and appreciate the lore and story of Lord of the Rings. I'm a huge Tolkien fan, but I'm not a Lord of the Rings honk, okay? They're just too long for me. I can't sit and I've read the books, all that stuff, respect it. But I can't sit there and watch them all, especially some of the Hobbits. But all that to say, back to Aragorn, I'm not going to get this, but it told me this. I'm going to be the person, and I told you this, Will. I'm going to be the person commenting every single post, InArt Daenerys win. That's going to be the question I'm going to be asking, because if they can nail, because they've 3-0 struggled with Aragorn, Vigo's like likeness pretty bad. And if they nailed this, I cannot wait to see Emilia Clarke as Daenerys. So that's my line. So whenever I see a post from InArt or Queen Studios, my comment, every single one, I give you my word, will be InArt Daenerys win.
So you're like the Mark 46 guy for InArt.
I am. When it comes to InArt, I need my Daenerys, because the 3 Daeneryses I have are not this, and I'm ready for the real one.
Yeah, well, we got Justin in the chat agreeing with you, but we're just gonna have to put him in timeout or something, because he doesn't like Lord of the Rings. He likes God of War though. So every time,
that's true.
He told me, Keco, he's listened to my advice on God of War, Red Dead Redemption. I don't know what else he played or watched because of me, and he was like, "Yeah, you've been right every time." Lord of the Rings, I got to talk to him. I got to talk to Justin, get him on track.
It's just too long, and then the Hobbit's really, but that's a conversation.
Yeah, the Hobbit, it's not that.
But
great,
you love Game of Thrones.
Yes. And House of the Dragon is what House of the Dragon is what saved Game of Thrones. Like I have a text thread with these guys.
How many episodes are in each season of Game of Thrones?
Like 10, right?
It depends, 8 to 12.
How long is each episode?
Anywhere from an hour to 2 hours.
This thing is literally 2.5 hours for one
3
movie.
hours per
movie.
movie.
But that's you're talking about one.
It's like watching like one season.
We're gonna have another conversation about Game of Thrones.
This is great. I'm enjoying this. So, but I get what you're saying, Keco. But Carlos, what do you think, man, about this InArt Aragorn? Are you gonna PO this? Because I'm pretty confident I will if it looks like this.
No, I 100% will be pre-ordering this tomorrow or whenever it goes up for pre-order. 100%. I like Lord of the Rings. It's like a tier 2 IP for me. Same with like Star Wars. They're like on the same level for me. Marvel's #1. Yeah, man. I think this looks great. It's like from the angles that I've seen, it looks like a 9.5. Solid. I think this is something that's going to do really well, man. I have that Gandalf. I have the Sauron from Weta. So I can't wait. You know what I mean? To what does it say?
Yeah, we got some really good comments. Yeah,
Riley is saying that he didn't like Lord of the Rings, but he was like halfway of the first movie. He's texting me. I'm like, dude, aren't you watching Lord of the Rings? He's like, yeah, but I'm just texting. I'm like, no wonder you're never gonna get into it. You're over here texting me. He's like, oh, I love.
Yeah, he said he was confused too. He's like, I was like, Riley, why are you confused by Lord of the Rings, bro? It's not that much.
Because he was texting me. He's like, I want General Grievous. That's what I want.
The best comment is Phantom RX. Keco's like a live negative Reddit.
I saw that. That made me laugh too. Yeah, and I saw MB Dyson. He was like, "We'll watch Back to the Future 2 and 3 before you cancel others on watching." Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but yeah, man, pre-ordering this, man. I like Lord of the Rings. I think they're gonna do great. Honestly, it looks like a 9.5. I'm gonna probably honestly try to get the whole line, and we'll see, where that takes me eventually. But I'm honestly most excited for Legolas. Because they did a 1/6 Legolas and it looked decent, so I want to see how far they can go with it. But Legolas, Aragorn, Gandalf the Grey, you know what I mean? It's gonna be a nice
Daenerys win
going on.
InArt Daenerys win. That's Keco's that guy. I know, Keco, you were just talking about it. You were like, all those guys in the Hot Toys comments that asked Padme, Anakin, whatever. That's you with InArt, bro.
It will 100% will be.
Well, see, Daenerys will be an interesting one because that will probably be their first look at what a seamless figure will look like for them.
Yep.
I'm assuming we're
depending on the outfit.
Unless they do the season 8. Yeah, season 8.
I hope they don't do that piece of shit, but I hope that
I actually like that outfit. I actually like that outfit.
I didn't like it. I don't want anything from season 8.
No way. The all white Winterfell outfit is badass.
Oh, that one, yeah.
I like the blue
and
one.
Then the one
when
she goes to King's Landing and she's got like the full like Targaryen outfit, and then the one where she walks through the gate and you see the dragon wings fly up and the dragon.
That's the outfit I think would be cool. I don't think they're going to do that, Keco. I think they might do like the blue dress or something, but Keco disappeared.
And I want the Night's Watch, right? That outfit for
Jon Snow.
That's what I want. Yeah,
right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Where did Keco go?
That would be dope, bro. I don't know. He disappeared. He went to watch Lord of the Rings apparently. So yeah, but that would be pretty dope. Bro. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get this Aragorn just because I really love Lord of the Rings, bro. And it's funny, like I saw Justin and Riley said Lord of the Rings was boring, bro.
Dude, Lord of the Rings.
Like Keco's not even willing to go that far.
No, it wasn't boring. It's just that he was texting me the whole time. You can't be into anything if you're texting someone. Like, how does that make any sense? You know what I mean?
That's like my wife whenever we're watching something and she'll be like, "What's happening?" I'm like, "Well, bitch, because you were on TikTok for the past 45 minutes. Why in the world do you not understand this?"
It was like Carlos when he was like, "Well, bitch, you're not a celebrity." Like, pretty much how
Like, do you think she's more good? Do you think she's better looking than me? I was like, I will say it, bitch, but you know what I mean? You're not a celebrity.
Exactly. This is why we have no female watchers, because of this. So yeah, absolutely.
Right.
But Riley is forever discounted in his opinions. No, if you don't like Lord of the Rings, I'm just fucking with you. It's fine. I just really love Lord of the Rings, considering I have a Sauron quarter scale behind me. So yeah, I'm really excited about this Aragorn. I think it looks great. But I'm with you, Carlos. I'm most excited for Legolas. I really want to see Legolas.
Yeah,
I think they're going to knock that one out of the park. But I'm with you also, Keco. I'm so hyped. I'm even more hyped for Jon Snow than I am Dany. I really want Dany, but Jon Snow especially. Give me season 8, give me
100%.
Night's Watch, whatever.
100%.
I'll take both, basically. Yeah.
Here's a question: how far are you gonna go with this line? Are you gonna get every piece that they give you, or are you gonna be like,
No.
nah,
Like if they gave me Galadriel, for example, unless it's Rings of Power Galadriel, if they gave me Galadriel from the movies, I would be like, no, probably not. But I would get, I wouldn't probably get like, I wouldn't get Boromir either. Probably.
You wouldn't get Frodo?
Maybe. He's a big maybe. Yeah.
Dude, you gotta give some love to those little fuckers. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know, right? They carry the movie.
They'll be cheap too. They're like half the size. You know,
we'll see with rooted hair and rooted hair on the feet. So you got to think of that too.
Dude, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, because I mean, I shit you not. It probably would be because they got hair all over their feet, and they probably would have rooted foot hair. So
yeah,
people be.
Dude,
really
I wonder
excited.
how high
like
the
Yoda's
thigh
hair,
would go.
you know what I'm saying?
What'd you say?
I was just saying it'd be like Yoda's hair with like, but on the feet.
Exactly. I mean, that's next level 1/6. I mean, rooted foot hair. I mean, like Hot Toys ain't doing that shit. So
no.
Let's raise the bar a little bit. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for your thoughts on that one. Let's move on to the next topic. Hot Toys King Shark, the figure that everyone has been waiting for. Honestly, I think it's pretty damn cool. I want to hear Kiko's like a negative Reddit thread, dude. I can't wait to hear Kiko's thoughts on this King Shark, because this King Shark, I had this on PO at one point. Keco, I actually was going to get this when Suicide Squad came out, and they put this up for pre-order a little bit after. I think it was a little bit after that. I picked this up and I was like, damn, I really loved the movie and I loved King Shark in it. And I was hoping they were going to do a Bloodsport. Turns out not the case. Didn't do one. So did one. I think Thunder Toys has done one now. It's pretty cool. I think this came out really good. The price is really great. You can't really do too much with it. I saw Sideshow's unboxing, and I think it was Terry. Terry was like, it's got 2 hands. They were like, there's 2 hands and there's a book. And then like the video is like 3 minutes long. And that's literally like the whole figure. It's a power pose. So it is what it is. But Keco, what do you think about this King Shark, bro? Is this on a scale of 1 to Grail? What do you think, bro?
I love the idea. Like you'd said, I love the Suicide Squad. It was great. It was a refreshing take on what the DC universe could be. And I'm excited for what James Gunn potentially could do with the DC universe. This was like when I heard, hey, they're redoing the Suicide Squad. Oh, cool. Yeah, what next? They're going to be putting the most random ass characters in it. Are you ready? I'm like, sure. Hey, John Cena's going to be in it. Oh, that's cool. What's he playing? Peacemaker. Never heard of him. Cool. Do you know King Shark's going to be in it? The fuck? I'm like, okay, cool. And it's because I think Sylvester Stallone is the voice, isn't it?
He is.
Yeah. Okay. So, and I watched it and I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, this is a fun superhero movie. I enjoyed it. But I never said, you know what's missing in my goddamn display is fucking King Shark. That's what I need. That's what I need right now is King Shark. And I'm like, okay. But I can't deny that it looks cool. I mean, who doesn't want a giant great white, with, I don't know, John Cena shorts on, reading a book? And I'm
reading
like,
a book.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool, but it's not something I am going to add. For those that are the Suicide Squad purists and like, oh, I need this. I would love to know the production numbers on this, honestly. It
55.
It cannot be high, but I will throw my hat in the ring on this. I wonder if potentially the next insert character win. I would like to say the Suicide Squad Harley win, because I thought if they were going to do anything from that movie, it was going to be Harley, because she had 2 incredible looks. One more comic accurate than what we got from Suicide Squad, and I thought the Suicide Squad's Harley was going to be the next thing, but it never happened. But I know we're talking about King Shark right now, not Harley. But
it's all good, bro.
There you go. It's sweet. It's cool. And if you have a sweet like Beach Boys display, then maybe this is something that you could add. But I don't know what you'd even pair it with, because you have nothing else to pair it with.
You'd have to get the So-So Toys Bloodsport. Yeah,
you don't need anything to pair it with. That's why.
It's like it's so awkwardly big. Like because someone because I got the blurg because
dude.
No, it's not. I got the blurg because it was 30% off when I was at Rick's Comics. I wasn't planning on getting the blurg, but you can't really display the blurg really well because of how long it is, how big it is. This is the same situation. I mean, it takes up a lot of real estate for something that literally you can rotate a hand. That's it. So I'm excited for the people that are hype about it. So.
I mean, it's a pretty cool looking figure, though. I mean, it is unique looking, and I'm glad Hot Toys is stepping outside of their comfort zone a little bit, outside the box a little bit. And like you said, Keco, you got a great white on your shelf that reads a book. So, I mean, I think I always think about this angle too. Like if you did bring for the 4% out there, if you did bring a woman into your house and they saw this, they'd be like, what the fuck is that? Like they'd be like, is that a shark reading a book?
And be like, yeah, bitch, it's from the Suicide Squad. You want to throw that on the Netflix downstairs and go to Pound Town? That's a great, segue potentially. You never know.
Pound Town, bro. That's Netflix and chill right there.
That's what that's called. That's a good one.
Anyway, Carlos, bro, jump in on this shit, bro. A Pound Town with King Shark. We got really Keco, bro. All right, Carlos.
Dude, I don't even know how I fucking follow up after that one.
Well, I mean, he's got fucking what are these starfish on his head? So I mean, Starro.
So I've heard that this figure looks cheap, or some people who have already had it or some shit, like it feels cheap. I don't know. I haven't really, kept up with it. I guess it's like I just need the same energy for the King Shark as far as like fucking the blurg. You know what I mean? Because it's the same thing. They both have some, pretty good paint applications, but from what I've heard, the blurg just feels super cheap, and I'm sure this big fucker is probably gonna feel really cheap too, right? So like
is he hollow?
He probably is, yeah.
Probably, but that's the thing. It's like I need Star Wars fans to bring me that same energy of them loving their blurg and loving this King Shark, because both of them are useless as fuck. We don't need a blurg, and we don't need a King Shark with a book. Okay, let's just call that what it is. You don't need quills, so you can put them on the blurg. Like you don't need that shit either. If you want to have it, that's cool. But I need that same energy. Like, hey, if we're gonna talk shit about King Shark, let's talk shit about the blurg too. You know what I mean? So,
but the blurg, here comes Lorist and the purist.
Okay,
the blurg accomplished something, without the blurg.
Yeah, I took up a shit ton of space for no reason.
No. He needed the blurg to get to the child. It's an important part of the story. He's like, I'm not being able to cross over to this Imperial Ravine or where all the gangsters are and such without a blurg. So if you say the blurg played a huge part in getting to the child, I'll give you that. King Shark just sat there and ripped a piece.
That's more of a leap than what King Shark did, though, because King Shark actually it actually has lines and does things.
It's like saying the fucking Bantha was more important than Boba Fett because he got him everywhere. It doesn't mean when you
in the book of Boba Fett, I would agree, because
the book of Boba Fett,
that show sucked. But.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Well, I will say though, Carlos, before as you jump in here, I will say. Like with this King Shark, though, I think sometimes I guess we have to find the happy medium, because a lot of times us collectors, we will complain. We'll be like, we want different things. Like, dude, give us something new. Give us something different. And then they give us something different. And we're like, this is fucking stupid, right? So that's why we're like, give us more Iron Man. And so it's like Hot Toys is probably looking at this like, God damn it. Like, they're just like, these people are never satisfied. So I think they probably stopped listening to us for that reason.
Well, when we say like, give us something different, we're not saying... like give us a fucking shark. Like somebody's like, yeah, I want a fucking shark.
Well, if it gets you to Pound Town, then yes.
You know what I mean? Like give us Bloodsport, or give us like,
right.
Give us a Bloodsport. That's something different. You know what I mean? It's from maybe an unpopular movie, or just give us a different IP. Like maybe now they're doing like Harry Potter. That's cool. But no one really wanted, like no one finished watching Suicide Squad and they're like, I want a fucking shark in my collection. You know what I mean? No.
Well, I mean, I think King Shark was pretty great. I really liked him in the film. So,
you want so as soon as you finish watching Shang-Chi, your little skinny ass drove home and you pre-ordered Shang-Chi and Wenwu.
Yeah.
As soon as this was over, it's now you're like, you know what? I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna pre-order the fuck out of King Shark. No, bro, nobody wanted this. Did you even pre-order
Right.
King Shark?
I did at one point, yeah.
Wow, never mind.
Because I
That's
really
my
liked the
case.
character. I thought he was funny. I thought he had a lot of good moments. I mean, so he was pretty entertaining. He was like DC's version of Groot, but he actually said more than
That's
just
a
Groot.
great comparison. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he is.
Yeah.
So I think Carlos, at the end of the day, like if you want a Groot, he ain't that different. I mean, so I
Come
don't think
on
King
now.
Shark.
There's more depth with Groot. Like he was actually he
Mm.
sacrificed himself. What the fuck did he do?
Bro, King Shark. I can't believe I'm making the case for King Shark right now. King Shark literally goes through an arc in the film talking about how he had no friends, he doesn't trust people, and then he finds a family. That's like what Groot does. I mean, it's not that different. That's kind of what James Gunn did. He took that, basically made King Shark his Groot. And he took, instead of Vin Diesel, he took Sylvester Stallone. That's what he did.
So you're telling me you're gonna buy King Shark?
If it's discounted, I might. I might.
What is the max you would pay for King Shark?
Probably like 125, 150, yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, 120. Because I saw on Tim Sen, he's like selling him like shipped, I think, for maybe 175, something like that. So I mean, at that point, and I think he might go that low. I think he might go to 125, 150. And at that point, I would kind of be tempted because I'm like, I really like King Shark. I don't really have many DC figures.
And you cannot deny it does have a presence and the paint apps are nice, but there's no real like because I didn't know until this movie came out. I never heard of this dude, and so there's no real connection. I hardly think there's people with King Shark bed sheets out there,
No,
it just doesn't happen. But
yeah,
I just don't think like after you.
Go ahead, Carlos. Sorry.
I was gonna say after you were done watching Guardians of the Galaxy, and the Groot and Rocket 2-pack came out, people wanted that figure. It's not like after you were done watching Suicide Squad, people were like, I need King Shark, man. Like, I love that. It's the best fucking figure ever. And no one's thinking that.
Suicide Harley win.
Yeah, that red dress Harley would be dope, bro. I think that would be
cool. Yeah.
I don't want the dress. I want the black and red leather.
Oh, the black and red one. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, the more comic accurate.
Yeah, absolutely, bro.
Or show accurate, whatever you want to call it.
All right, guys. Well, great thoughts on that one. I want to ask something real quick. I think this would be interesting. Because I've started to notice, I guess, recently, like what determines credibility as a collector? Keco, I want to start with you on this one because the angle I kind of thought about this from was, okay, like people watch this channel, they engage with people in the community, they watch a million other streams, Justin, reviews, Joao, Manahot, whatever, right? All these streams, reviews, Facebook groups like a place for collecting and so forth. And I think sometimes I start to wonder, like, what gives us credibility as a collector? Like, do you have to collect a certain number of Hot Toys to have a valid opinion or an opinion that people care about? Do you have to have been collecting for a certain amount of time? Is there certain maybe habits or philosophies or traits that make you quote unquote collectible, credible as a collector rather? So I'm starting to wonder, and I want to hear from the chat on this one too. Like how do you guys determine that? Is it an amount of time? Is it an amount of figures? Is it like a philosophy in your collecting? What do you look for when you determine sort of credible and lacking in credibility, uncredible opinions, for lack of a better term? So Keco, how do you approach this, bro? Is there anything that you look for or do you think that people look for when they think about this?
That's a really, really good question. I told you about this when you sent me the little chat earlier. So, hey, kind of what we're talking about. And I was like, this is important. I do want to talk about that because you can open up a can of worms for sure, but this is a really important topic. And yes, the three of us are sitting on a live stream right now with an audience. I have a YouTube channel. You have a YouTube channel. I have an Instagram. And we all know people with YouTube channels, Instagrams, and there's people in the chats with the same. But what makes a collector credible, I would say, is there's a couple things, and I don't want to steal any of Carlos's thunder by any means. If I talk too much, just cut me off.
No, you're good. Keep going.
Drinking, so I can ramble quite a bit. But with that being said, I think there's a couple things that you really need to care about. And the number one thing is passion. Is it authentic? Because anyone can put and fake something for a while. And I feel like, me, for the most part, hopefully you think I'm a genuine person who knows what they're talking about, and it's me passionately discussing something. But there's also people that literally just follow trends, follow what is popular, and say things simply for responses, clicks, whatever it may be. So I think from a credibility standpoint, find someone that's passionate about what they're talking about. I think about Aries. He is passionate about Star Wars and, 6 scale Cantina, all that stuff. Dude knows his Star Wars stuff, and that brings credibility. The second thing I would say is longevity to a degree. Now, no one can say, okay, you're a collector because you started collecting this time when whatever it may be. There's no timestamp you can say, okay, because you've ticked enough boxes, you're a collector now. No one can say that, but there is something to be said about someone who follows trends and fads. When you collect things, you collect things. So maybe you're a 6-scale collector, maybe you're a statue collector, a Funko Pop collector. Cool, whatever it may be. But I do have an issue with the people that jump from the new. You know what I'm saying? I do have an issue with people that simply like, oh, this is the new hotness, and I'm all in right now. Because that's a dangerous place to be as a collector as well, because you can waste money, you can get things you don't want. And then you also, if you do have influence, being on streams or things like that, you can influence people to get things that they may not want. And I think that's important too. So I would always look at somebody, their passion, number one, and then whether or not they have a track record of being, firm and steady and, long in it for the long haul. Is there anybody that can become a passionate collector in 2 weeks? Probably. But I would want to see what they were really invested in before that. Knowing some history of like, hey, what did you do before this type of thing? For me, I told you that it's the blue chest that got me into collecting, from under the stairs at my grandma's house. That's the thing that got me collecting. And I can talk about me being a collector since that moment. What got you into collecting? For YouTube views or because you genuinely like to collect? So those are the things I would say, but I'm sure Carlos can add to that.
Yeah. Well, Carlos, what do you think about this, bro? Well, like what helps you determine credibility as a collector? What do you think?
Well, there's quite a few different things, and I agree with, basically everything that Keco has said. So I would say that plus a few other things. Like I think you want to look at and everyone can decide who they want to believe in, right? But I think it depends what advice you're trying to look for. So if you're trying to say like, if you're trying to get an idea like whether this figure looks good or not, then I guess in that sense, you can try to look after someone who has, I guess the most amount of figures, right? Maybe someone like a Justin or Fabio, who he's been doing this long time, right? They have a ton of figures. They've seen it all. So from hey, does this figure look good? What are the problems with these figures? I've seen all figures, so I can give some advice. Sure, I guess that makes you credible, I guess. Then you look at the other side of saying, well, collecting long term, how do you keep collecting long term? Who's going to be able to do that? I think you look at it, you look at collect, and again, what Keco said, and in addition to that is like, who's been trying, not necessarily who's been doing this for the longest, because that doesn't mean a lot. You know what I mean? You can be doing this for 10 years, but you can be also like flat out broke. Then that doesn't really say a whole lot about like you at all. Honestly, it really doesn't. Like if all you do is spend your money on collectibles, then that's not probably someone I want to listen to. You know what I mean? I think I'll look at a few different areas, like who I can relate to. What are they doing outside of this? Because, like I'm 32, going to be 33. So I want to relate to others who are similar in age, similar in things, like mortgage, family, you know what I mean? Just because if you've been collecting and you can do this, well, I want to learn how you did it so I can balance my life. So that makes you more credible as far as like the advice you're giving me. Because on here, right, we all give advices like, oh, does this figure look good? Right. But we can all make that determination because we all have eyes. But really what what we're talking about is like what gives someone advices like how to become a collector long term. You know what I mean? So I guess that's why we'll look at it, multiple other areas and just like, do you have a collection? Do you not? What are you doing? And, I guess that sort of thing. So that's how I will, look at who's credible, I guess, if that makes sense. Right.
And I think it just depends. The reason I kind of bring this up, like I said, is I think, this is something that happens in pretty much every community that, where opinions are either validated or discounted based on, I guess, a subjective view of the person's credibility, right? And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. Like we do that with pretty much everything. Like we determine, like celebrities credible on pretty much everything they talk about. So that's why people follow them. And then when they post something, people are like, oh yeah, I agree with that person. So I don't think it's any really different with anything else that we're doing. But as far as like YouTube, I mean, I think it's just, to me, credibility, and we'll wrap this topic on that and we'll move on. I think to me, it really ties into like how thoughtful you're being about your collecting. I think that's important just for me personally. Like, I'm not going to discount anyone's opinion necessarily, but I think it's one of those where I really do value people's opinions. And I'm not talking about YouTubers. I'm talking about just people in the community where it's like, you know, I really value people's opinions who are really thoughtful about their collecting. Doesn't mean you have to have an Excel spreadsheet or, you know, or do everything super crazy, but just really thinking about what you want and where your collection's going and how you're spending. I think that's really important. That's just something that I value, and everyone's going to be different. So, you know, that's what I would say.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, let's move on from that one because, like I said, I think that's just an interesting topic. And like I said, I'd love to hear from the chat on that one. But nonetheless, let's address a super chat we got. We got one from Mr. Ben or Benny. Before collecting statues and 1/6 figures, I started collecting coins and classic book covers and still do. It is important to have interest in other fields. I actually agree, Ben or Benny. I actually agree. Because we all collect different things. I know Carlos and I do signatures, you know, other stuff like that. I have some baseballs and sports. My brother has sports stuff. Keco, do you collect anything outside of, I know you collect statues, but is there anything else you collect?
I'm trying to think. At one point, I collected cards, like the
Okay.
anyone remember the Star Wars customizable card game from Decipher, before they became Wizards of the Coast. I did have those, and I had quite a few, and I actually recently sold them about a year ago and got a real good return on my investment for those. I used to collect cards, but other than that, I've kind of limited myself just to kind of figures and such. But I used to also collect guitars as well.
Oh, nice. That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Pretty dope. Well, guys, thank you so much for your thoughts on that one. And I think we want to move on real quick to something about the InArt Joker. So I want to ask you guys, I'm going to bring up Mr. Joao's review, Mr. Big Bretta, if you will. I'm sorry, I'm sharing. This is like an inception here, right here. I'm sharing our live stream. Sorry, I pulled up another YouTube video. It's actually this one I want to share. So I shared Joao's video here, right? And we can see he did a review on it. It was a great review, per usual, by Joao, the legend himself, Big Bretta. So guys, I want to ask you, does anything change with 1/6 collecting if this Joker is as great as it looks in Joao's review? And I know Justin's going to be doing a review soon. We're going to see that. We're going to see other reviews. So I'm really excited to see how that turns out. But what happens to 1/6 collecting if this Joker is great? Is this something that we see a change in? Do we see people willing to spend more money? Do we see people wanting a higher standard from Hot Toys, for example? And they do some great shit, like super high-end King of the Mountain stuff. But InArt is maybe doing something that's exciting people. It's got people's attention. I mean, I can just tell you from the videos that I do and other people do, like if you talk about InArt, people pay attention. I will say that. Like you can look at any sort of analytics you want. If you're talking about InArt in a stream or you're talking about InArt in a review, the views are there. People really pay attention to InArt and they're watching closely. So Keco, I want to ask you, if this Joker is as great as it's been advertised to be and been shown by Joao to be, do you think it changes 1/6 collecting in any way for you and everyone else?
I don't know if it changes anything other than the fact that new technologies will be more readily accepted by the competition, if you want to call it that, because they're like, okay, here's your price point. Here's what people are willing to pay and have paid, essentially. And I think it may set the bar kind of for what the top shelf, if you want to call it that, what the limit is, essentially. For a while, everyone said, okay, $400 or $500 is what the max you're going to pay for a hot toy with, Iron Man, essentially. Now, this may set the benchmark, essentially, for what a premium 1/6 collectible figure is. And I know this Joker's a little bit different because there's multiple options. Sculpted hair, 2-pack, rooted hair. They went all out on this because I think it really is kind of a test subject to see, okay, here's one of the most popular characters of all time. We're going to give you all these options. And I think based on those sales, they will dictate their, strategy moving forward. If they be like, look, no one bought the and I'm just throwing stuff out there randomly. If no one bought the sculpted, we're not doing sculpted anymore. We're just doing rooted. Or if they look at it and be like, wow, sculpted was up 75%, only 25% doing rooted, maybe they'll go back to doing, more sculpted options or something. I think you need to let this run its course, essentially, to kind of get some data. But I think that there are options out there that will give people, I know people want the magneted hands. I want the magnet hands, magnet feet, things like that. I think that's so awesome. Everyone's tired of the wrist pegs breaking and shit like
100%,
that.
Yeah.
When I was messing with my new Chrome Mando, snapped the fucking wrist peg. And I was like, motherfucker. And I was like, thankfully I have like 55 wrist pegs. I can just plug it back in, good to go. But with the magnet, you don't need to worry about that. So I really would love to see other competition being like, okay, this was real. It wasn't a fluke. Look at the numbers. It's done. Where do we go from here? Because the competition not just InArt, but the people, Susu, Hot Toys especially, they're going to need to look and say, look, people bought this for this price. Do we want to charge this? We could, but we need to make sure our quality control is of similar, that it's comparable, because you don't want to sit there and be like, okay, here's your Joker 3.0, but it sucks compared to this, $450 for Joker 3.0. No one will take that serious, because this is now the benchmark. So I think the benchmark has been set. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I think we'll see. Yeah. And there's a bunch of really good comments, Carlos, before you jump in. Like, the standard for the quality has changed. I know Wayne Timothy said if it's InArt quality is a term people could use. And I guess we'll see when we get these in hand. Maybe they do raise the bar. Maybe they don't. I guess we'll find out. But what do you think, Carlos? I mean, I know that's a great comment. There's a lot of really great comments in the chat about this. Yeah. What do you think, Carlos?
So I would like to start off by highlighting CT603 comments, which he says that if the first batch is good, but then so because if the quality is consistent, it's a home run. If the first batch looks amazing, but later batches don't look good, then we have a problem. Agreed. Yeah. So 100% I agree with that. But assuming that the whole thing becomes great batches, right, throughout, then it's a home run. And it tells you that, hey, just like Keco said, here's what a premium collectible at $1,000 would give you. Die cast this, wood base that, rooted hair, all that good stuff. At the end, it doesn't really change a whole lot as far as like who becomes like still king. Hot Toys is still king. It will always be king because they've done a lot more. I want to make sure that's clear. But that also means that if InArt keeps delivering more and more, then we're going to start looking at things a little different. I think InArt was the reason why we've seen J&D do things like, J&D, the Platinum series. They have like a premium line. And I know that Hot Toys has a DX. Maybe they get rid of the DX and they end up doing like another line or whatever it may be, maybe a higher price figure. Because if you have to remember something, a lot of us are not willing to spend $1,000 for any character, but we will for some. Maybe if this does well, if it sells well, and we see other figures sell well, then that could lead Hot Toys to saying like, hey, we are going to be doing something similar where they do also have a premium line. It's possible. Where they do rooted or they do real leather and they do have maybe they revamped their DX or something. So I think there's a lot of stuff that can definitely happen from this, but it wouldn't just be like the Joker itself. Because if the Joker comes out great and that's the only figure that ever comes out great, hypothetically, then it doesn't really doesn't change anything. They just, they were a one-hit wonder and hey, they hit a home run, but they didn't win the game. You know what I mean? So that's what I think would happen. I think what will happen initially, though, is that we're going to see a lot of InArt pre-orders start going through, or a lot of them start selling out more, I guess, if that's a thing. So we might start seeing that consistently just because the Joker starts, start doing great. And they might get through that, hype of J&D, where like J&D, everything sold out and everything sold in the aftermarket for a lot until they kind of settle down. So we may see that. But as far as, again, 1/6 collecting, throughout, I think it will have like minor impacts as like it's Hot Toys until we start seeing better releases consistently long term, 3, 4, 5 figures in. And then at that point, it's like, oh, damn, Hot Toys might be not in trouble, but people might want to start, really looking at InArt as a serious contender. Like, hey, like if they're going to announce a Superman, well, fuck, we don't want to have anything that deals with like a Superman from like, Hot Toys, or like a John Wick. Like maybe I don't want to get a John Wick because I know that InArt might get it. So that's gonna, stop you from doing that. So
yeah, and I think it's just a really interesting concept because I know, Carlos, like we had said originally, and Keco, I don't know if I told you this, but when InArt was originally coming out and we were like, some of these prices, I think InArt's a little bit overzealous in what they're going to be charging for these things. Because I know Optical and I talked about this too, maybe on lives, we thought maybe 1/6 collectors were not going to be willing to pay such prices because they're a lot higher than what 1/6 collectors are normally willing to spend. However, I think we've seen otherwise. What'd you say, Carlos?
I was like, who was right?
Not you. So I will say that overall, like I think there have been like a change here, and I think this is one of the things that I think we could see too, where Hot Toys actually is kind of they've been lowering their prices and adding sort of the rolling eyes and other things like that. So they've been doing a pretty damn good job, and Hot Toys deserves a lot of credit for that, for actually lowering prices and raising features. So InArt, we don't really have much of a sample size yet, like Keco was saying, but I think it shows for quality. For what they're marketing, people are willing to pay. for the right character. I mean, and
For the
Joker's
right
obviously the right
character.
character. Right.
Yeah. Because see that.
if InArt puts up a king shark, I don't think anyone's going to be hyped
Yeah,
about that.
No.
But a Daenerys Kiko, yes. Yeah.
Yes. See, and the only reason is because their other option was horrible.
Right.
That's why there's a lot of like debate between like the Batman. Do you need the InArt Batman, or do you want to stick with Hot Toys? Do you want the InArt Pennywise, or do you want to stick with the InArt with the Hot Toys Pennywise? Yes, it's better, but to some people it might not make the difference. Which is what I'm saying, that I think for certain figures, and maybe that's just me, like Darkseid Anakin, right? Kenobi, where I think Hot Toys is missing out some market there and saying like, hey, these are premium. Like we'll do the sculpted version or whatever, but for certain characters. But I think that they're for the right character. I think, and maybe I'm just speaking for myself. I'm speaking for myself here, but I'll rather have, okay, like here's a Kenobi for 280, but I'll rather take a 400, 450 Kenobi who has real leather, sculpted hair, whatever it may be, just better materials, maybe a bigger diorama, whatever it may, you know what I mean? Just a $500 figure, because I believe people spend $500 for Grails all the time if it's the right character. And if it's the right character, I think people will spend $500 for a really good retail, even from Hot Toys, if it's done with the right materials, if it's done correctly. And I think you reserve that for like a DX, but something like a Terminator, Captain Jack Sparrow, which are all $500 figures. But new ones like Kenobi or like Darth Vader they did with the cracked helmet, beautiful, but huge. Like, can you imagine? Like, I would have rather have them charge an extra $100 or $50 and have them made out of leather, real leather, that would have just been like, damn. Like
I would have paid probably $150 more.
Yeah, that's my point. For just certain figures, not all figures, just key figures, do that. Go that extra step. And I think Hot Toys will have something really unique. We're like, hey, we're going to give you all these characters that we know they're like mid-tier or low, and you're not going to pay a lot, like She-Hulk, like whatever, whatever character, but these really high-end, like a Vader, or maybe everyone has been, a Kenobi. Those are like super iconic characters, or like a full die-cast R2-D2 instead of just the dome, or or as much as you can, or a die-cast C-3PO, a full one, not just certain parts. And I think that's going to separate Hot Toys, and I would really love to see that, because they have the Star Wars license, and InArt isn't getting it anytime soon, and they have the Marvel ones, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying.
Well, Carlos brings up a real good point, and I don't want to keep on this topic too long, but he brought up a point about the Batman. InArt did one and Hot Toys did one, and you have to honestly say, okay, is the Hot Toys one better? Is the InArt one better? Honestly, I don't know, because I feel like they are so close to where you could say, I'd rather save $100 and just go with Hot Toys. You're going to be getting a decent figure, and then some people are like, I'd rather pay the 100 more and get it, the rooted thing. I think what's interesting is that it's going to come down to licenses and where they can capitalize. Hot Toys and InArt does not need to be making the same figures at all. And because they're going to be cutting into their own, or if they do decide to go that route, I think the number of the Batmans are going to be relatively lower, because they're like, we're not going to make 10 million of these because InArt's making half of them, and so you might see production runs and harder to get versions of them. I would love to see them focus on licenses that Hot Toys doesn't have. If it's good and they say, okay, look, we are the king of root premium pieces, then go with that. Run with the license that you have. Then if you really have a good track record and be like, look, we put out 50 of these unbelievable high-end 1/6 figures. Star Wars, do you want to talk to us now? Then you can talk to it, and maybe you can get the license. But you can't be making the same figures, because then you're just going to split the market, and it's going to make things really, really messy. So that's my
thought
about that.
Well, as a business, I do want to do that. I do want to make the same figures,
because you can steal the market profit from them. Sure.
Well, not only that, but let's say 2-3 years from now, 4 years from now, where I can be like, look, for anything that we could make, the Hot Toys can make, we made it, and we made it better. We made the Batman better. We made Pennywise better. We made X amount figure better. And then they can present that to Star Wars and be like, wouldn't you want a better X figure sold for more?
But I feel that you're still cutting into the number of sales, because they'll be like, okay, no, I'd rather pay $300 for the Hot Toys one. You're not getting my $450, and you're going to lose sales that way.
Yeah. So I think at a certain point, it's not about the sales. It's about proving a concept that, hey, we can do this and we can do it better. You can be like, yeah, but they made a Joker and like the Hot Toy one is 10 years old. If Hot Toys really is a Joker and it doesn't look like this, they're going to look like dumbasses.
Right.
Like they are.
And I think that's why we haven't
like
seen the 3.0 because they know that.
Right. They might.
And
they might.
Right. And that's what it is. It has to be really good for them to be like, shit, you still got beat. And if you keep getting beat, it's not about like, well, we're going to make a ton of money. It's like, no, we're proving ourselves because then we want to establish a record for that Marvel and Disneyland. You know what I mean? Star Wars license. But I do agree with you as well. Like, go make things. Like, you know what they should do? They should really fight whatever they can and figure it out, which might be, you know, super, you know, Mount Everest. But go try to see if you can get that Ghostbuster license. Go update some of these older figures. Yeah, 100%. I'm with you. But I do believe they need to be making
Peter Venkman win.
Hot Toys is making the what?
I said Peter Venkman win.
It's true.
But so that's kind of how I see it. I think they have to, so they can say like, going toe to toe, we can beat you, because that's what I would do. It's not even about making money. I just want to beat you, so I can show.
But that's not a good business model, though. You can't just sit there out of spite.
You have to. Well, you have to.
Eventually, you got to worry about your bottom line, but we don't know what.
Well, that's the thing. If you, well, yeah, but you don't do this for every figure, but you do have to be aggressive though, because you look at it and say like, okay, again, if you want to go after Star Wars is going to be like, well, like, can you produce at scale? I'm like, well, yeah, we can. Well, how do we know you can produce better than Hot Toys? Well, because look, we've done 10 figures that they have, and we beat them on all 10. Right? So you have a track record. I'm not saying you do this for every figure. I agree with you. But I'm saying you still want to be able to beat them. Not like every single figure, obviously.
That's
like,
fair. You want some heads on your mantle. I get that.
You know what I mean? So you have to prove it. You have to be able to go to Disney and be like, not only can we scale, we can do it better. Right? And then what does that look? And maybe they get a license for like exclusive characters only. Maybe not like all of Star Wars or something.
Give me some Max Rebo then, baby. I want the Rebo band.
You know, imagine a dark side Anakin. Imagine a real leather Vader. You know what I mean? So those would be cool, man. So
yeah. All right, guys. Well, we're going to move on from that one because we got a couple more topics to hit in a limited amount of time. But thank you so much, guys, for your thoughts on that one. Let's move on because I know, right? We are rolling. Time flies when you're having fun, bro. I want to ask you guys the number one tip for buying used Hot Toys, because this is something that I think a lot of us do. And I want to just share, I'm just going to share Facebook. And you know, our boy Andrew James is on here. I can share his post if we want. But yeah, I mean, you're going to see this type of posts all over Facebook, right? You're going to see a lot of people moving on from figures. And the question would be, what do you do as a collector when you join these groups? It's like, it's a difficult decision, right? Because you're like, man, I got so much temptation out there. And like, do I want to hop on these used figures? What kind of risk am I incurring? Am I getting a good price? There's a lot of different factors. So for new people or for more experienced collectors, what would you guys say the number one tip for buying used Hot Toys is? Because like I said, this is a market that has a lot of used Hot Toys out there. I'll let you go first on this one, Keco. I have some thoughts of my own, but I'm going to save them for last. So what do you think? What's your number one tip for people?
Things have changed so much over the past year because, I mean, just the market itself, pricing wise. I'm not going to talk about the price. I want to talk about some of the things that may not be thinking about, because everyone look at a price like, oh, good deal, I'm going to grab that. But here's the things that I would think about, because I'd probably say half of my collection is used, because eventually, if you want to grab other things, you're going to have to collect backwards. It's just the way it is, you know, because these figures aren't released anymore. That's not like you can go grab them off the shelf, anything like that. So if there's an older figure you want, it's going to be used essentially, very rarely. And that's the thing, is I don't understand I only want sealed in box. I don't know if there's any way to ever prove that. Yeah, you can take a picture and show it, but who's to say it wasn't taped back up? I don't know if there's any way to ever prove the sealed mint in box. But here's the thing I'd say is that I want to see 100% what it is I'm getting. Don't ever buy a picture, or I'm sorry, don't ever buy a figure with the stock picture. You know, don't ever do that, because you need to see what it is. I love these buy sell trades where they have, you know, the name, the date, you know, that this is the figure you're getting. Once you confirm that this is it, then there's the things you want to look for, and you need to ask the questions. Be like, hey, you know, for example, one of the things I was chasing earlier in the year was the Death Star gunner. You know, that's one of the things I wanted to have. And one of the things that quite often is left off is the antenna. Is it either breaks off, it's lost, whatever. Mm-hmm. So whenever I was looking at some of the ones on, you know, eBay or Facebook or whatever it may be, I'd be like, okay, cool, I'm interested. Do you have the antenna? And that comes down to, doing a little bit of research. You do have to do a little bit of work when it comes to the used version of these things. Know what they come with, know what the condition is, and then also look at the date. Is this a 2015 figure, a 2014 figure? Know that, things may not be holding up as well as something from 2 years ago.
Right.
So make sure it comes with everything. And the thing that I cannot stress enough, ask as many questions as you want. If they're not going to be straight with you and be like, well, you're asking too many questions, I'm not interested, you're done. Because if this person's not going to be straight with you and answer every question you have, because think about it. Yeah, you may be getting a good deal, but at minimum, you're probably paying $150 at minimum for any of these figures. That's a lot of money, and if you're just saying, if someone's not going to answer my question, they're not getting $20, let alone $150. They're going to answer every single one of my questions. Exactly. Fuck them. This is a true story. Yeah. This is a true story of something, is that I was trying to run down the Stormtrooper Han. The Stormtrooper Han. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the one from A New Hope, right? Or
not, it was a Toy Fair exclusive, and that was one of the ones I was running down. It was a companion piece. I needed it to go with Luke because I had Stormtrooper Luke. And so I had gone through and I found one on eBay. Okay. It was a really good price. I got super hype. Buy it now. Cool. It shows up. I unbox the fucker. I'm like, what the hell is this? It's a knockoff head sculpt. Because it comes with the smirking head sculpt.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because the one about Stormtrooper Han is the smirking head sculpt. That's the one that the people like. They think it's the most Harrison Ford looking sculpt. And I'm like, okay, motherfucker. And so I went through and looked at all the pictures, and I could confirm on the eBay post, dude posted the pictures of the knockoff head sculpt. I'm like, shit, did I just fuck myself? Did I just kind of pay this amount of money for this? And I just got literally half a figure. And so I messaged the dude. I'm like, my man, I don't know if I should look at these a little bit closer, but you realize you gave me a fake head sculpt? He's like, oh man, I'm so sorry. I must have messed it up. Story worked out. The dude sent it to me next day, the real head sculpt.
Wow.
It worked out. But you need to know that, because some people will be like, oh, cool, I got a new Stormtrooper Han. But you may not know that you have a knockoff head sculpt. You need to know what it comes with. I know I rambled a little bit about that, but doing your research, knowing what is out there is so damn important. And if people aren't going to talk with you and the communication is shitty, bail. Do not run on that.
Right. I will say, like, the kind of layup gimme answer is pretty much always pay PayPal goods and services.
Yes.
Unless, that's, I've seen that in the comments. That's a really good choice. I mean, you have protection. You can definitely, pay. I don't really recommend paying friends and family ever, unless you just really know the person. Like, if it's the dude, my friend down the street, I'll be like, okay, yeah, I'll pay you friends. Rob has bought something from Carlos, I'd pay him friends and family, right? But if I'm not buying something from Carlos or Keco or someone I really know or trust, then I'm not really doing that. Honestly, I mean, one thing you can say is, like, if you buy from like a YouTuber per se, you probably could pay friends and family if you wanted, because if they ever scammed you, you could just destroy their reputation. So I mean, you could do that, I guess, if you wanted to. But but I would say still pay goods and services if you can. Carlos, what do you think, bro? What's your number one tip for people buying
number
used?
one? All right, so I've shared the story that I collected like close to like 200 figures or something like that, 150. So man, I've done a lot of buying, I've done a selling. I can tell you a bunch of shit. The number one rule that I've come to establish is that whatever figure you want, go to eBay, type in Hot Toys, let's just put Captain Rex, right? I'm going to select it and make sure that it's only the US, and then I'm going to look at the sold listings. All right?
100%.
I'm going to look at the sold listings. Whatever that amount is, 10 to 20% below, and make sure it's a good listing, because sometimes it can be skewed because it's super low. But when you click on the listing, it's like, oh, you had a broken backpack or a broken this. A good listing, right? 10 to 20%, ideally 20% lower than that amount. Write that amount, and that's the amount you want to go and you do an ISO post for, right? And it works all the time. So let's say it's $200. You see them, sold on eBay, 20% lower, right? So that's like $40 less. So you post like 160, right? I'm assuming that's what you're saying. You're going to be able to say, hey, I'm looking for a Captain Rex ISO. Don't put the price. Just know 160 is like, if you can get 160, you're buying it. You make that ISO post, ISO, which means in search of, and you're going to get a ton of people who are going to, reach out to you, and you negotiate that price. That's how I've done it. And when I sold a ton of my figures, I think I sold like close to 200 figures, and I must have lost like $400, something like that, across like so many. And most of them actually made money, but the shipping kind of, fucked me sometimes. But meaning that you can get into this very, very, carefully by doing it right. So if you're going to buy a used figure, that's what I would do. ISOs, do that, and notifications. I know that's 2 tips, but notifications. Go on eBay, type in Hot Toys Captain Rex, and set the notifications, email and text, so you get a notification when something's popped up. And again, you already know what's your bottom, what the price you're looking for, and then you turn on notifications for BST groups. And then when something's posted, you can kind of see it. But honestly, the ISO post has almost never let me down. I usually, like for example, I was looking for a IG-11, and at that time he was going for like 200 in the group or something, but I noticed on eBay was going a lot lower. So I made an ISO post, and I've got one brand new, right, sealed and everything, for like 160 shipped, just because I was able to negotiate it. I think that's where we landed, maybe 165, something like that. Point is that that would be the number one tip. Look at the prices on eBay, 10 to 20% lower than what the listing sold. That's a good listing of a figure you would want. Like some are loose, right? Some are not. So of a listing that you would want, and then make an ISO post, and then that's how you can buy a really good figure at a really good price.
Well, the one thing I would say also is, if I were going to say number one tip for buying used Hot Toys, try not to. Because I just really don't buy used anymore personally, unless it's a figure that you just have to have. Like for example, the DX13 Battle Damage Terminator. Like I absolutely love that figure, and I paid a little bit for it. I paid about $500 for it. I think it was maybe $3 something retail, but I got an extra some clothing parts and stuff, so that type of stuff. But when you buy a figure like that that's considered a grail, then you're paying for that. But at the same time, collecting backwards can be a very dangerous thing, because look, InArt's got Terminator 2 now, right? And if I had just waited maybe a little, like another couple years, right? That's still a long time not have a Terminator. But if I had just waited a little bit, maybe I could have got that hopefully superior Terminator anyway. So I think more often than not, things do have a way of working themselves out. With third party, it's a little bit different. I understand that. I paid for Cloud too, so I get that. With used Hot Toys though, I would just say, like you guys have given excellent points. Scout the deals. The number one most simple tip, honestly, would be to not use eBay unless you have to. Facebook groups, you are always going to get things cheaper.
Right.
People just, you'll always find a better deal in the Facebook groups. 16 Republic, BST, plenty of other groups out there. There are so many cheaper Hot Toys on Facebook, because people on Facebook are just willing to unload. They're just ready to get rid of the figure and want to move on. So that, like with me, when I sold a lot of my figures, I was like, just give me something reasonable and I'll take it.
Because and I know someone's saying, oh, there's a lot of scammers, and there are, but so I would say that my tip of the ISO, I out of the 200 figures, I think I might have had, like, I'm not even kidding, like 4, maybe 5 problems. So I rarely had any problems at all.
I had like 1 or 2,
Because what Keco said is that I would message them, and I would be like, and even the slightest little thing, like if I saw like a wrinkle, I'll be like, can you take a picture of that? And they would be like, no, that's too much work. I'd be like, okay, well, I'm gonna go with someone else.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
I was just saying that if they're not willing to work with you, man, then they don't get your money. Is that it's a business transaction. If they're not willing to work for you, absolutely not.
Yeah. Right. And the questions I would always ask is like, hey, dog, pet free and smoke free. So I would make sure I have that, because sometimes they won't list it. But I never really had a problem with figures, because I would ask so many questions. I remember at one point, and I got really annoying with a lot of my buyers, is that I would ask them like, I need a video. Especially like Iron Man, I need a video of you racing the arms like a T, and then they can hold up. Because I would notice that sometimes when I would ask them to do it, they would hold the arms, and they would just fall back down. I was like, oh, you motherfucker, I would have caught that. You know what I mean? So little things, like depending on the age of the figure, if it's like a 10-year-old figure, that's different. But dude, I would ask for so many questions. It would almost be annoying, honestly. And that's how I almost made it with like very few. And the ones that I had problems with were the ones that I never did my due diligence. I just kind of was like, oh, okay, it's cool, it's free. Okay, let's buy it. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Well, excellent thoughts on that one, guys. I want to address a couple super chats we got here. We got one from Mr. Ben Thomas, the man himself from Canada. Thanks so much for joining, bro. What an epic group of sweet angels in the panel and chat. TGIF. Thanks so much, Ben. Would love to have you back on soon, bro. So we'll have to chat. Ben is such a nice guy. Ben, I don't know if you guys have seen, Ben's been working out lately. He's looking pretty buff, dude. He's
his
looking
arms
good,
are already bigger than yours.
I was going to say, how's his
impossible.
shoulders, though?
Yeah, shoulders. Carlos needs his
Motherfuckers.
shoulder. Carlos, stop fucking around and sell Keco Dector 1, bro, and then it will end. I
Yeah,
promise
PayPal
you.
goods and services, of course, because I don't trust friends and family.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Mr. Benno Benny, thanks so much, bro. You've been super generous with the super chats, man. I really appreciate that. InArt are putting out a statement by making the same figures. It shows a lot of confidence. Yeah, I think Carlos is onto something. I think they might be. And Keco has a good point, too. I think they might be onto something as far as InArt is like almost purposely doing that to sort of make people make the comparison, you know?
Of course, you have to. I mean, you have to.
Yeah, I
You
agree.
can be a little bitch in business.
Yeah, that's true. Guys, we're gonna run slightly over because I think we got time for one more topic. So we're gonna try to make this one slightly quick, but we're gonna do one more. Just an idea of which one I want to do because I always come up with more topics than we need, and I think
Just
we got
do
a lot of good
both.
ones.
It's fine.
Dude, we've been on a roll tonight. Pick
I
the
know,
most
we have been
dicey
on a roll
one.
tonight,
Yeah, this has been a
haven't we?
fire show.
I know, right? Fire show. Thanks so much for joining, guys. Let's see here. So if we want to
Reddit
talk about,
Keco.
let's do this. If Hot Toys released blank in 2022, I messed up the
2023.
No, well, I'm just saying, like in 2022, you know, how a lot of
Hindsight,
people.
right?
Oh,
Yeah, in 2022, you know, how a lot of people did their top 10 figures of the year.
Clone
and so
Wars Kenobi win.
yeah, Daenerys win. So, like, my point was, if the figure that Hot Toys has already announced, right? This is how the question goes. If a figure that Hot Toys already announced, if it had released in 2022 would have been better, right? It would have been a better output for Hot Toys. So, what figure do you guys really wished was released in 2022? And I want to hear from the chat too. Let me know in the chat. But Keco, what figure would have made 2022 that much better, bro?
You know exactly what it is. I messaged you a little bit, kind of similarly, in the private chat about this lovely lady, Wanda. Where is my Scarlet?
That's all.
Witch?
You've been on the Hot Toys subreddit, bro. Because
I know.
that's all they ask. They're like, "Where's Wanda? Where's Wanda?"
Is she safe? Is she all right?
Yeah, I know.
But no, honestly, this one's a little bit perplexing. And what if I told you? I literally got an email 10 minutes ago from Sideshow that said your Scarlet Witch has been delayed to March and July.
March and
2020.
July.
Yeah,
Damn.
there it is. March, July
Damn.
2023. What the fuck? Literally, I like, damn, like I need to have Liz Olsen show up and hand deliver this to me because this is getting ridiculous. And I have
Can I tell you?
Go ahead.
Really quickly. I think they're gonna fuck this sculpt up. I think they're.
You
gonna
think
fuck
that's what it is?
I
Well,
think they're gonna fuck it
imagine
up.
Loki. So you know,
Well,
I think they're gonna
here's
fuck it up.
I don't.
I
Think they fucked it
saw
up, but
when
I
I
think
did
so.
one of my Why Are Hot Toys So Expensive videos. I did like one of the behind the scenes videos of them showing the master sculpt of this figure. JC Hong was painting it, all that stuff, and it looked so damn good. I don't know how you can mess up this sculpt when you have the Multiverse of Madness version right behind it, you know, because you can't butcher one and then expect to use it for the next.
Did you see Loki? The TVA Loki and
that
then
was
Endgame
3
Loki?
years though, and
Yeah, but you can be like, oh, like we have TVA, we should do. Better.
Do you
but
wanna
that's
hear-
not the Grail Loki.
do you want to hear my prediction of
What's up?
why
Okay,
this is
go for
taking
it.
so long?
All right, what's up?
I think they're putting purrs on this figure and they're
Mm.
updating.
Man, they're not putting purrs on this bitch. This thing is gonna suck. That's
No. Because it's already, you can swap the hair out. It's already got swappable hair. Do you know that? Because you can swap out the different hairs depending on, believe me, I've
Right.
looked at this figure quite a bit. You can swap out the hair. And so
Yeah.
I think they're putting purrs into this. That's the only reason
no.
as to why. There's no logical explanation. So to answer your question, Will, that's what would have made 2022 better, is for me to have my fucking WandaVision, Wanda, because we got White Vision, we got the Vision, I guess the Vision and Vision. Where's this one at? Because this is one of my most anticipated figures. I've told you this. Huge Wanda stan, and they already told us they fixed the crown. We already know that they've updated
Right.
that.
They did.
So what are we waiting on? So
I actually think Keco, they might be changing the head sculpt. I
to
think
what?
like,
I think they're
It's
gonna fuck it up.
beautiful.
well, I think it is beautiful, but I think at the end of the day, the Multiverse of Madness one is better. Maybe they're taking that and just putting this hair on it.
Do you
or something.
think this will be me blinded by the need
See,
for the figure?
that's why that
10 out
question
of
came
10,
into play.
10 out of
Like, see
10.
me with Loki, for example. I'm not saying Loki is 10 out of 10, but with the helmet on, I think it's damn good, and it's my favorite figure. So I'm really excited about it. So absolutely, bro.
I think
but
they're
I'm
gonna
with
fuck
you.
this figure up.
You think they're gonna fuck Wanda up? I don't
They're
know,
gonna
bro.
fuck it up.
Maybe
There's
because
no way.
well, so
They're gonna
Nick
fuck it
Nick
up.
raised a really good point. He was like, you know what? This is actually coming close to the multiverse one because the multiverse one it's July to December. So this one's going to release pretty close to that if they both hold. So That's pretty crazy.
Let me throw this out here. Last thing I'll say about this. So I also got my delay email saying Quill's been delayed. Well, we know Quill's not delayed because he's literally sitting in my collection right now. So he's been released in Hong Kong already.
Right.
Are they just accounting for Chinese New Year and things like that? Because you're literally losing a month, if you're being honest, with anything coming from Hong Kong. And they're maybe building that in. I don't know, because I think these numbers and dates are sideshow delivery.
Right.
But damn, where the fuck is this figure?
Yeah. You know, Benny said they don't want to repeat a Black Widow. I think Loki and Doc Ock would say, hold my beer. You know what I mean?
Repeat what of Black Widow? What did they do wrong with Black Widow?
I guess because the sculpt doesn't look good.
No, I told you that's one of the better ones.
Yeah, Keco loves that figure.
I love that.
I mean,
both of them.
I mean,
see, I don't like that sculpt, Keco.
Just because it's better, it doesn't mean it's good. It's like Kenobi one.
Yeah, this is fucking great. See, yeah,
Have I been drinking that much? I don't understand what's been said.
Yeah, Keco. No, I don't like that Black Widow sculpt, bro.
Really?
No, like,
yeah.
No, yeah. It looks like someone punched her in the face, and then that's the sculpt they gave us.
Have you seen? All right, that's fine.
This is great. No, Keco, I just think the head looks a little big, and it just doesn't. It's probably the best Black Widow sculpt they've made, but it's not. It's far from good. I feel like that's my opinion.
Yeah, that's important. It's the best one, but it doesn't say a lot either. You know what I mean? Like,
sure. I mean, I got the the Winter Soldier version of Black Widow with the rooted hair. I think that's the best sculpt, worst hair.
Right.
But I don't know.
I get what you mean. Well, Carlos, what about you, bro? What figure would have made it better? I mean, because Commando came out, so you can't pick that.
So it has any figure that's been announced.
Yeah, that's on pre-order. Like, maybe something too, if you can keep it within somewhat recent delivery, expectation for delivery. So maybe like Q1, Q2, something like that for 2023.
Can I say like the Mark 1? Because the Mark 1 is
dude, absolutely. Because that's on the list for new figures.
Yeah. So the Mark 1. The Mark 1 would have made it better because I love Iron Man. So it would have been nice. It would have been like, Happy New Year. Here's the Mark 1. You know what I mean? I thought that would have been really cool. Because for me, I'm going to pick up the Mark. Yeah, see, okay, perfect. So the Mark 1 would have made it better. It's going to be die cast, or most of it should be die cast. Some pieces will be die cast, whatever it is. But man, I can't wait for this one. I know you don't like it because it's not a real Iron Man suit armor, but I want this because I'm only going to have, I don't know, I may shoot myself in the foot here, but right now I just want the Mark 1 and the Mark 85 because it's like the first suit and the last suit. And I may have like the Hulkbuster, but that doesn't really count. The point is like, man, that would be it. So the Mark 1, 100%, man. And the sculpt, see, is this one of those scenarios where even if the sculpt sucks ass, like it doesn't matter because I'm never going to display it with like.
Right. I mean, you're not having the open head sculpt. Although in my collection, my version 2 of the Mark 1 has the helmet up. So.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about Loki. And some people said they were actually going to do it, but I was like, you're putting the helmet on him. Like 90% of people, 95% of people, you're putting the helmet on him. So I would say, Carlos, I'm going to take a little bit of a hot take here. You know this. I don't really like the Mark 1. It's not that it's a bad looking figure, and the base is great, and I love that it lights up with USB. That's incredible. I wish they did that for more Iron Man figures. I just don't. I know it's a very pivotal and instrumental scene for Iron Man.
Get to your point as to why you don't like the Mark 1.
It doesn't look good. I know it's a cave suit. It's a bunch of metal scraps, and I get that, but there's nothing exciting about it. I look at it and I'm like, yeah, that looks like what it's supposed to. It's a bunch of metal scraps in a cave.
This shows you like how intelligent Tony was, that he was literally able to create a suit off of
Why didn't they shoot him in the eye holes?
I'm not talking about how intelligent Tony is. I'm talking about figure wise.
Well, that's my point, is what it represents.
Yeah, what it represents, but why? I mean, he has eye holes. They could have just shot him in the eye. Like, it doesn't make any sense, bro. And then that's my thing.
It's like that's like you saying like No Way Home is a shit movie because he could have been like, hey, just let's make a spell where everyone forgets what Mysterio said. Oh, no shit, motherfucker. That would have been easy. You see what I mean?
They could have done
that. Would have fixed the problem.
Riley's punching the air right now.
Yeah, Riley is, bro. Riley's upset. No, I'm not saying it's not iconic. This suit is super iconic to many people because it's a very, Iron Man 1 is huge for the MCU. It's the start, right? But I just feel like as far as a figure goes, there's nothing exciting about this for me personally where I would get it. But obviously people disagree with me. So that's why I think it's a hot take because I think a lot of people really love this Mark 1 and really have been excited for it. But for me, I look at it and I'm just like, I have no interest in it. Like to me, the Mark 1 is the Mark 3. That's what I consider the first Iron Man suit. Yeah. So
I don't know, man. The whole ice thing is a stretch because it's like saying like in Dark Knight shouldn't have happened because who can fix their broken back with some rope?
Right.
Let me get some rope.
That's
and
medicine,
fix
bro.
My back. You know what I mean? Like, come on now.
I don't know. Those dudes in the pits were wild, though. You don't know.
Yeah, they had some wild medicine in there. So, but yeah, so that's a good choice though, because I know a lot of people are super hyped. And I will say, because you know my choice, and it's already on the list. No, bro, Loki's out.
Shang-Chi.
Out.
Yeah,
Shang-Chi and Wenwu, baby. Because those two, I was so excited when Hot Toys put those two on the coming soon list. Because I am so excited to get these. Cannot wait. I think they're going to nail the head sculpts because they already put out that Wenwu with the suit, basically, which should be a final head sculpt, and it looked great. So if it looks anything like that, I cannot wait. Shang-Chi and Wenwu, grails, bro.
Shang-Chi, okay. I think Shang-Chi is going to be like a super underrated figure, bro. Because what's going to happen... Okay, what's going to happen is people are going to get it and they're going to be like, oh, yeah, that sculpt looks amazing, right? And then as he develops in Marvel, because Shang-Chi was an amazing, especially that bus scene. Dude, I've watched it a bunch of times. I want to go fucking learn how to fight just so I can do that, right? And I think he's going to be a more popular character and people are going to be like, ew, give me Shang-Chi. I want Shang-Chi. And be like, well, you can't have him, bitch, because there's not a lot of them.
Because you didn't pre-order him.
You didn't pre-order. And then Wenwu will probably be the same thing. I think Wenwu looks going to look... I'm not going to buy Wenwu, though, but Shang-Chi, he's in my list.
You got to get Wenwu, Carlos. You got to get Wenwu, bro.
You know me, man.
He's amazing.
He was all right.
Nah, bro, he's better than all right. He's one of Marvel's best villains. What do you think, Keco?
I was going to say he needs to make sure to get the signature plate if he does get Wenwu. You know, that's part of it. You know, I understand how that is.
Dude, I got to get the sculpt.
Yeah,
I'm not denying the fact that the figure's fire. Do you want to hear a hottest take that we can, end on?
Don't tell me you didn't like Shang-Chi, bro. Do not tell me.
I did not watch Shang-Chi.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
And so, okay, I have literally been sitting on my hands.
What is it? Too long too? Like Lord of the Rings? Is that why you didn't like it?
No, and so every time we have these streams or talking or whatever, I'm just kind of like sitting there biting my nails, like, geez, shit. I hope they don't ask me what I think about this, because I know it hypes you. You know, you're excited about, and I love that for you. I love that's your journey. I'm excited about that for you. But for me, I just couldn't. I just feel like this right now, as of right now, maybe once Phase 5 and 6 plays out, it'll mean more. It doesn't mean enough to me in the grand scheme of the MCU right now to really shake me. You know what I'm saying? That's my issue, is that there's no real stakes. Yeah, we know he's got some great abilities and, we've kind of opened up this idea, but I don't think it's, it's not an Iron Man 1. It's not a Winter Soldier. Right. I'm not saying, film wise, as far as it's not being a good Widow. Film. Hey, now I like that film, but it does not have the stakes involved with it yet. Standalone, it's great, but in the grand scheme of the MCU right now, it does not, ring true for me, and I hate that. Yeah. Will, I don't want you to.
And that's what I'm telling you.
No, dude, I love that we can disagree. It's great.
Yeah, that's fine. We can all be wrong. So the thing is, like, Shang-Chi, it's one of those figures, bro, where people are like, oh, I don't really want to watch Shang-Chi. I'll rather, get Black Widow because it looks great. And then what's gonna happen is once it starts rolling along, then people are gonna be like, damn, I miss the Shang-Chi.
Hi, looking for Shang-Chi.
The OG is the best.
Below retail.
Yeah, reasonable price.
Yeah, I mean, but that's like saying like everything's retail, dude. Right now, like, you know what I mean? Like the other day, I bought a water, like a case of water, and people were like, "Oh, here, you want this Black Widow hot toy?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure, I'll take it." You know what I mean? It's pretty much free at this point.
What do you mean a case of water in the Black Widow? I'm confused.
What? Yeah, like, dude, never.
That analogy did not make sense to me.
Yeah. Call him out. I'm just call him out on his shit, bro.
I'm trying to trigger Keco, but
who's the one that's been drinking? Damn.
Yeah. I will say, Keco, by the way, just in defense of Shang-Chi, highest rated audience Marvel score of all time.
I know that. But like I said, I wonder where, because Phase 4 sucked. Are we okay to say that Phase 4 was a little underwhelming?
See, Carlos disagrees with that.
Well, I know this will.
Okay, let's talk about Phase 4. Let's talk about Phase 4. Okay.
Should we make this our own
Phase 4
topic?
does not. Okay, Phase 4 does not include TV shows.
What?
Because MCU,
It has to.
right? Like Marvel Cinematic Universe, meaning the theaters, not
Cinema
TV.
made for TV. This film has been
it's
adapted
a cinema.
to your TV.
We don't include TV though. Are we? Oh, if you're including TV,
Black Widow didn't even go to theaters.
But that's a movie though. We're not talking about TV
I thought it did,
shows.
didn't it? It did. It did.
Did it?
It was both. It was both.
Yeah, there you go.
Will, it did.
Okay, okay.
Because I think I saw it in theaters.
Does MCU mean TV and movies or just
yes,
TV?
You're going to tell me WandaVision does not count as part of the MCU?
It's like
let's press pause. Let's press pause. We're getting off track here, but I think they need to define. I don't think it's called the Marvel Cinematic Universe anymore, specifically because of what Carlos said. Not all these things are a part of a cinema, but that's a great point. We maybe need to dive into that a little bit further. But in the Marvel timeline, is that fair? The Marvel universe. The Marvel live action universe. There we go. Here we go. Here's the perfect segue. This is great. Is Phase 4 bad? It's not bad. It's underwhelming. But when you're coming off Infinity War, when you're coming off Endgame, you're going to have a lull. I get that. I'm not because you need to have your Thor Dark Worlds. You need to have your bad movies. You need to have those to set those things up. But all of Phase 4 didn't set up anything for Phase 5. And I talked about this on my podcast with Dave on Typical Nerd Talk, is that if Ant-Man and Quantumania does not land, MCU is in huge trouble because that is their jumping point for Phase 5. If they cannot convince me that Kang is a Thanos level threat, I'm out. I hate to say that, but they spent 3 phases building up Thanos. Now you're going to throw Kang as, the big bad. You better do some shit in Quantumania to make me get invested, because I don't care about Namor or Namor, whatever you want to call him, doing shit in Wakanda. I don't care that Vision's off fucking around doing whatever. I don't care that Kate Bishop is the new Hawkeye. I don't care about any of that. I need to know because Kingpin is not the big bad of the MCU. Kang is supposed to be the big bad of this phase. You need to show me why. And Quantumania better hit, or we're going to have some serious problems. And Phase 4 did not lay the groundwork for that.
No. The timeline, I would agree. And that's something I've said. Like, we really didn't need a show for, Kate Bishop. We needed like a 1 hour and a half special.
Sure, that could have been cut in half.
Yeah. We like same thing for She-Hulk. We didn't need that green hoe twerking. Okay, we just needed, 45-minute show, 45-minute intro, special, something like that. That's all we needed.
Same thing was literally made to bring Daredevil in. That's all it was made for.
Moon Knight, whatever, you know what I mean? Like all these shows could have.
Moon Knight was a miss. Man, that made me sad.
I love Moon Knight, but I also agree that it shouldn't have been a full-on show, because you're just dragging it on. It can just be an hour special, or even like a 3-episode 1 hour show, something very limited. And I do agree that's where MCU fucked up. And I've seen them change that now, because they're starting, like, for example, that War Machine thing, they're making it into a movie, the
Armor
Blade, whatever that fucking Blade, because the script and the director left. Regardless, they're making it into a movie now. So they're starting to realize, like, oh shit, like, we are overproducing, thinking that anything that has a Marvel logo in it, people are gonna cream all over it, and that's not true. Like, it's just not happening. So I do agree with you in that, but if we're just looking at movies, I don't think movies were like a shit show either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I mean, because you have Black Panther 2 was pretty good. Shang-Chi was great.
But that's the thing, is that
Widow.
I was super hyped for Black Panther 2, because, Black Panther played a big part in, my relationship and things like that. I told my wife I loved her at Black Panther for the first time.
Nice.
For what it's worth. We had those songs, at our wedding, all that good stuff. Tragic. Chadwick's not with us. But what if I told you I did not see Black Panther 2 in theaters? That's how uninterested I was, because they did not make a compelling enough case for me.
That's fair.
That's interesting. Yeah. That's interesting. I actually thought it was pretty solid, though, Keco. You watched it, though, right? On Disney Plus?
Shang-Chi?
No. Is Black Panther 2 on Disney Plus?
February 1st.
February 1st? Okay.
Yeah, I've seen all the leaked stuff on like YouTube and shit, but I've not officially watched the full cinematic version of Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever, until February 1st.
It's pretty good. I mean, it's not
really
as good as the first one, but yeah.
No. That first one was something.
No, you'll never replace that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I do think if
See, but
Chadwick
that's
was
the
in the
thing.
second one, though, it would have been
Sure.
significantly better.
And there was
Yeah.
a second script. I've read all that stuff on Reddit as well. You know,
Right.
it's a shame.
I think
It's a shame.
movies only. I think the MCU, the Phase 4 can rival Phase 1 and potentially Phase 2. Honestly,
This is some
movies
fake
wise.
news.
Movie wise,
What movies? You're gonna tell me one movie in Phase 4. There's Draco. Do you hear him?
Okay.
Tell me one movie in Phase 4 that was equivalent to Iron Man 1. Tell me one.
I think Shang-Chi.
No Way Home.
What? No way, bro. Okay.
No Way Home.
Riley's gonna lose his mind.
No Way Home.
Riley's gonna die.
Riley's gonna
No Way
die.
Home.
It made like $2 billion.
I don't care because it's a cotton candy film of people just
Okay,
going,
Phase
oh
2,
shit,
okay,
there's
let-
Willem Dafoe. Oh shit,
Okay,
there's Doc Ock. Oh fuck,
let's
there's
give
both
you-
Iron Man.
let's-
both
Carlos does
Spider-Mans.
agree,
I'm
though. I
so
think he does
hyped.
agree.
Okay, let's give you Phase 1. Okay, let's say that movie.
This is a
Let's
good
go
show,
to
by the way.
Phase 2. Let's go to Phase 2. Let's go to Phase. Please pull up the fucking Phase 2 movies. Let's
You
see
want the
what
Phase 2
bullshit we
Marvel
got in
list?
here too.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah, I know.
Phase 1
I know.
wasn't-
Age of Ultron was in that. Thor: Dark World. Winter Soldier was in that.
So I mean, we also got No Way Home. We got Shang-Chi. We got Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Like those were solid movies.
No, 3 mid movies.
No, not mid movies. Okay. Okay? Iron Man 3, that wasn't good. Thor: Dark World, that wasn't good. Winter Soldier was amazing. Guardians of the Galaxy was amazing. Avengers: Age of Ultron, that was a pretty big miss in my opinion. And Ant-Man was pretty good. Ant-Man was as good as like Multiverse of Madness. I gave it like a 7.5. I don't think it's. I think Phase 2
Ant-Man
is
and Shang-Chi.
comparable to Phase 4. Dude,
Kiko,
you
that's
have No
bold,
Way
bro.
Home, No Way Home, Shang-Chi, and Black Panther 2. How, at least one of them they can't beat Winter Soldier, but at least come really close. At least No Way Home can somewhat beat that or get close to it.
I think I like Shang-Chi more than Winter Soldier personally, but it's really close. Really
Okay.
close.
This is what I love is that we can have this deep discussion. I love all this stuff. But I'll say the only miss in Phase 2 is Thor: The Dark World. You can talk shit all you
Iron
want
Man
about
3
no,
was
no, no, no,
bad
time-
too.
Time out.
Okay. Okay.
Iron Man 3 was, if you watch it by itself and you did not get Endgame, it sucks. But because of Endgame, Iron Man 3 is must see because it completes the Tony Pepper arc. You get to see him saying, you get to see the development. Even Iron Man 2 is very
I love Iron Man, but fuck Iron Man 3. Like, no, that has nothing to do with it. Just movie for movie. Not like, oh, it completes it. I don't give a fuck. No, say it. It's not a good movie.
Even the little boy he meets shows up in Endgame. That's so cute.
That is
That's
true,
That
but-
is a full character arc. You're gonna tell me that somebody from Phase 4 is gonna show up in Secret Wars, that something like that? Come on.
like, hey, motherfucker, go watch a 2-hour movie for 5 seconds. I show up in this funeral. Like,
Are we talking Lord of the Rings now? Damn.
Yeah. I know, right?
we're talking.
I will say the Kiko Age of Ultron is like, I feel that's kind of disappointing in hindsight. Like when
Age
you
It
of
is
look
a
at it.
little disappointing, but that gave us Scarlet Witch for the first
It did.
time. It gave us, and honestly, when I saw the first trailer, this is the last thing I'll say. But when I saw the first trailer for Age of Ultron, I
She
shit
wasn't
myself.
good in Age of
Oh, I
Ultron.
did too. The first trailer was amazing.
When you got him talking about, you want to see something beautiful, you want the world to change, but you want to save the world, but you don't want it to change. And it goes through all that stuff, shows the Hulkbuster fighting, and then the final scene shows Ultron Prime, and he says, "There are no strings on me." And you hear Spader talking. That was badass.
It was great.
I loved that.
They kind of like
Shang-Chi?
made him more humorous though.
Hold on.
And that is all
Okay.
because of the director change.
Yeah, Joss Whedon. Yeah.
Winter Soldier is an amazing movie, by far. No Way Home, close to it, or to some people, tides with it, right? Somewhere in there. Then you have Guardians of the Galaxy, which I love, and I put Shang-Chi below it. So is Phase 4 bad? I mean, it's close to Phase 2, and some people would agree that maybe they could tie it. Black Panther it's like as good as like minimum Age of Ultron at a minimum, right? At a and we're talking about like if you watched only half of it, it's as good as Age of Ultron.
I would say
is as
Black
good
Panther 2 is as good as Age of Ultron, if not better. I think it's better.
if not better. Okay, Ant-Man is probably as good as Multiverse. Would you say that?
I like Ant-Man more. I didn't really like Multiverse that much, but a lot of
it's
people
close,
did like
right?
Multiverse.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not like Ant-Man is like a fucking 10, and then like you know, Multiverse is like a 6 or something. Like they're close. You know what I mean? Iron Man 3 and Thor Dark World, that's like literally Thor and Love and Thunder and fucking I'm sorry, Iron Man 3.
That's another Phase 4 film. Is Love and Thunder.
Okay,
the terrible.
Iron Man 3 is probably as good as Love and Thunder. Thor the Dark World is literally is as good.
I think I like Love and Thunder more than Iron Man 3. Yeah.
Okay. Thor Dark World,
like fuck you
Thor
guys.
Dark World is probably as good is as bad as fucking Eternals, right? Or maybe
bottom 3 are Dark World, Eternals, and Captain Marvel.
Yeah, that's probably fair. Eternals is
Captain
the worst
Marvel.
MCU movie in my opinion.
Shameful.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel?
I didn't like Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel was okay. It was okay.
Oh, you're talking but I'm talking about movies.
That is a movie, Captain Marvel, not Ms. Marvel.
But that
Captain
wasn't in
Marvel
Phase 2.
That was in Phase 4.
It was phase. Was it Phase 4?
It was put right after Infinity War
Right.
to capitalize on the hype because oh shit, this is the movie right before Endgame. I have to see this. That's manipulative marketing. Did not like
Point
that.
being, if you go movie per movie, Phase 4 either beats it or it ties it. I'm just telling you. You've seen Love and Thunder. Have you seen Love and Thunder yet?
Yes, I saw it with my father-in-law.
And Iron Man 3. What do you give Iron Man 3 1 to 10?
I make sure to follow me on Letterboxd. I have my official rankings of this.
Okay, well,
but Iron Man 3 is a 7 out of 10 because
and what's Love and Thunder?
Content. 5, if that.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that low.
I lost all credibility for Love and Thunder. For one, when he did the Jean-Claude Van Damme splits, I was like, what the fuck? But then when he went to the gods like temple and they had the Baal god, the Baal pasta god. Remember that? It's like, this is Baal. He's the god of dumplings. Remember that?
I don't even remember. Yeah. That's probably how forgettable it was.
Point being,
it was bad.
Thor to me was like a 6.5, 7. So I ranked that with Iron Man 3. Thor Dark World is like fucking Eternals, Winter Soldier, No Way Home, Guardians of the Galaxy, Shang-Chi, Avengers: Age of Ultron, Black Panther, and Ant-Man is somewhere in there with like Multiverse of Madness. We're not like totally off. Like, it's not like you're saying Phase 4. It's not like Phase 1 and Phase 2. We're like Phase 3 God level tier. Like Phase 4 it's either tied or like right below it. It's not like all these movies are like.
I think what happened is just to wrap this conversation. I think basically what happened was just my quick opinion on this. After Phase 3 and how good it was, or sorry, Phase 3, Phase 3 and after how good it was.
Precedent. It's an unfair
right. And that's the thing. After Phase 3 and how good it was, the standard changed. So then when Phase 4 came out, we didn't expect it to be as good as Phase 2. We expected it to be as good as Phase 3 or better. So now I think we're judging Phase 4 a little more harshly because the standard has changed.
Kinda
so
like
I think
InArt.
that's why. That's my interpretation of what's happening.
Phase 2 is not like 8s and 9s all across the board. This is
there's like 3 really good films. Yeah.
So Phase 4 is like
there's only 6 films.
Yeah, like but if 3 are really good and the other 3 are like, then that's not a great hit rate. I mean, that's 50%.
Right.
So
and then same thing with with Phase 4. Look, No Way Home was a pretty good movie. I don't think it's like 9.8 like people are saying, but I think it's pretty good.
It's like an 8 at best.
But it's good. Yeah. I think that's probably as good as like.
I liked it more than that.
Cotton candy film.
Black Panther. Black Panther I thought it was great. And again, same thing with Shang-Chi. I thought it was probably one of the. Shang-Chi is the best, in my opinion, Phase 4 movie, right? But I know most people feel that's No Way Home, right? So that's how I'm going to see it. So that's my point. Like if we would have gotten Phase 4 as a Phase 2 movie, like in that sense, I think people would have been happy with it. But the problem is that we were coming after Endgame and Infinity War, and Phase 3, which is fucking. Hall of Fame type.
Yeah, Phase 3 is like God tier. I mean, you got Infinity War and Endgame and fucking Black Panther, right? I mean, it's like you got a lot of really great films there. So that's why I think the standard changed. But anyway, guys, let's wrap it there. We got to end that conversation.
Shit tonight. Good.
I know, right? See, this is crazy. Guys, thanks so much to this Avengers Level panel for joining me. We'll definitely talk more about this stuff moving forward. Like, if you guys want to see more topics like that, then we'll definitely do it. Things maybe that are related to collecting, but not exactly collecting, we can definitely do that. Or maybe create another show and do it something like that. Anyway, guys, thanks so much to the panel. Mr. Carlos, A Place for Collecting. Bro, what's coming up on the Facebook group? Anything you want to share, go over?
Yep. So we are actually wrapping up the giveaway with Keco for the sculpted single pack version of the Joker for the InArt. So if you still want to participate, I believe that ends today. So you go to Keco's,
It's
YouTube video
tomorrow,
and
bro.
learn how to enter. And it's tomorrow. And then after that, we're going to be doing a live, announcement. So a place for collecting is a Facebook group where we make sure that in the group, right, it is toxic free, drama free. And that's the main goal of the group. Obviously, outside of the group, it's a little different, but in the group, it's calm. So that's the whole point of it. But thank you for having me, bro. It's always fun to spar with Keco.
Yeah, man. Absolutely, bro. Well, thanks for joining, man. It's always a blast to have you. And guys, check out A Place for Collecting on Facebook. Mr. Keco Collects, dude, on YouTube and Instagram. What's coming up, man?
Absolutely. And sparring, we do. I enjoy that so much with you. The man himself, here we are. Real Expert on Instagram. Check those out. We just did a real review of the integrated suit Spider-Man. We got the Mark V suit up tomorrow, so make sure to check that out on the IG as well as the YouTube channel. We're trying to continue to grow that the best we can. But thank you so much, Will, for letting me be a staple on Lights Camera Keco.
Absolutely, bro. Well, thanks so much, Keco, for becoming a staple, bro. Because like I said, I really enjoy having you here. And Carlos, of course, man, really enjoy having you guys here. Because you guys, even when you have like a hot take, you present it very respectfully, and it just creates a very interesting dialogue. So that's really what I think is
Keco.
I know it's entertaining for people, right? Because if you look at things, you look at all the talk shows that are on TV now, right? The entertaining dialogues are what get people engaged, right? So,
Correct.
I just think, people really love that. So, and Kiko's got some awesome takes, bro, and some awesome real knowledge that needs to be shared.
They're not always right, but they are there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the Shang-Chi one, I'll just have to forgive you, but it's fine.
We'll open that can of worms another time.
Lord of the Rings and Shang-Chi, you hit me twice in one night, bro. So yeah,
go watch, Black Panther and Shang-Chi, and then get back to us. And
yeah, right, exactly. Well, guys, thanks so much for watching, contributing in the chat, guys. I do want to share something real quick because I did, and inspired by Mr. Keco, create my own Instagram page. I don't even have any posts yet, but I'm going to start creating them. I posted a bunch of stories, so I'm going to start sharing stuff from news to clips to reels, maybe stuff from this live stream. I'm going to start posting on there. So I'm going to start posting a lot on that Instagram, specifically to collecting. So if you want to give me a follow, that would be great. Will.Foxification is where you can find me. And I could even post the link in the chat for those who are interested. And if you guys need anything else, let us know. We're always happy to give some advice and help you out. And with that said, we'll catch you in the next one. Peace out. Bye.